Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Saturday Sideshow edition of Encrypted Connections. I am one of your hosts, and my name is Kyle. Welcome. Good to see you all again. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Happy Saturday, everybody. I see people talking in the chat about the weather where they are. Mike, 122 degrees is absolutely insanity. It was about 90 here with about 185% humidity. It's disgusting. It feels like you're walking out into a hot pot of molasses. It's just thick and gross, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, not one bit. The air conditioning is where I want to be on a day like today, but 122 is just, that's brutal, man. That's like sadistic hot. I don't know how you even deal with that. We had some downpours too let me tell you what, last night at between 2 and 3 a.m. we've had some heavy rains here lately, like on and off, some bad storms, and the other day we got about 4 inches of rain throughout the day, which was a lot, and it was coming down. Last night I woke up to the heaviest rain that I've seen possibly in my life. It was as if, when people say like buckets, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like there was a whole stadium full of, angels in heaven that were just dumping buckets on your home and sheets of rain. It was the heaviest rain I've ever heard in my life and seen. It was just craziness. It was nuts. So very, very, very loud thunder, super bright lightning. This is what we get here for storms in the summer, because the climate here is that humid, nasty, thick stuff, and then you get a cold front that comes in, and man, they just do not, they don't mix well. Mike was in a tent that night. Yeah, that's it was bad, dude. It was bad, man. It's hard to describe just how heavy that rain was, but yeah, it was crazy. But last night was even harder. I'm telling you, it was so bad. Maybe if we played better, angels wouldn't be throwing heavy liquids at you. Maybe not. But I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. I saw this new guy. I don't know if you guys saw this guy here. This guy's new apparently. He said he's not sure if the person who referred him here was saying the channel is for people with engorged rectums, or if the guy was trying to tell him that the host was just a huge asshole. Can someone clarify? I think it's probably the latter of the two. I know the host. He's definitely a huge asshole. Demonetized, by the way. If you swear in the first 5 minutes of your video, instantly demonetized. So let's get that out of the way. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be swearing. I'm going to do my best not to. My mom's probably freaking out. Hello, Mike, my brother, Mike Stone. How are you, man? Sonia, hello, honey. I see that it's freezing cold there. I like the cold. I'd take it. Please bring me there. I would do so good there. I don't like the heat whatsoever. My brother Harlem, I talk cryptids. Welcome. Miss Trish, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Janelle, how are you, my sister? Can believe I'm doing nothing today and you can see everyone. Well, I'm glad. Canning veggies? That sounds fun. 88 degrees in East Tennessee, but it's so humid. The humidity is what does it. It's just nasty. It just changes everything. My brother E-Rev and the homie Salty, thank you guys for being here. We've got Hope, Frankie. Okay, people are popping in at the bottom here. I didn't see all you guys. Hope, Frankie, Mike, Bernie, of course, my brother Bernie, Sandy, hello. I think I've got everybody now. Yeah. Love a newbie. Yeah, gotta love a newbie. Anyway, we got a good show for you tonight, guys. It's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about the Beast of Bray Road. We're going to talk about some, how this Dogman phenomenon has kind of been on the rise, and it's just kind of just really spiked in the last few years, like really crazy. But let me bring on my co-hosts, please, my brothers. First, from a small town, I believe it's called Sussex, which is short for suspicious sexual activity. My friend, the mild-mannered superhero of cryptids. This is Ben. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. And last but not least, the enigma wrapped in a riddle himself, the man that we believe is either a secret agent or a vampire. Maybe both. He might be a vampire who's a secret agent. I'm not sure. But it's getting to be a full-time job trying to figure out, and I'm not getting paid a goddamn enough. So maybe you can figure it out. You say International Man of Mystery. I say International Man of Misery. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fresh, or his back. Oh, look at the intro.
Oh, what a change.
Look at the intro. That would be awesome. That would be a great way to start the show, is if somehow you ever watch pro wrestling?
No.
Oh, shut up. You've seen it before. You know how they all have their own entrance music and they come down the ramp and they have their own thing that they do? We should have our own. Like, we should have entrance music. We should walk down a ramp.
It'd be like the monkeys,
I guess. What monkeys?
big bold ones. Yeah, we could do that. We could do some freestyle rolls in or something, a cartwheel or something.
Yeah, I mean, some interesting intro that's like, I
could do a rig that just brings me down really slowly on some mechanical.
There you go.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. You're right. Anything is possible.
It's all achievable. If anything impossible has possible in it, so it's easy.
Right. It's possible I'm going to pee my pants tonight. I really didn't plan this well. I realized just about 2 minutes ago that I gotta urinate badly.
Well, have you got your bottle with you? Your web bottle?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm wearing a diaper.
I've got my
That's easy, Carl. That's the best way.
It goes on that much and long now. I have to wear a catheter.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I had to hit 40 and it was instantly diaper.
Yeah, I've got no bladder, so I ain't. It's just what it is.
Well, that stinks.
Literally. Oh dear. Slow near.
Oh God!
It's in the gutter already. Who's banging now? Ben, stop banging, please. It's disturbing.
If you see me trying to be like Miyagi here,
I saw a bug fly on your camera.
Yeah, it's a fly.
If you see, I'm going to catch this live on the show in front of people tonight.
Listen, have you ever heard my story about how I sucked a bee out of midair through a straw?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I expect you to do with that bug.
You want me to get a straw?
I want you to get a straw. I want you to try to suck it out of midair through the straw.
Yeah, go for it, Ben.
This little fucker's quite clever,
Stop swearing.
So was the bee.
Sorry.
We can't swear.
He was so clever. He was so clever that he evaded me for a while, and then when I got him, he stung me in the mouth.
Really?
Yeah, right in the tongue, dude.
This is not a stinging thing; it's a fly.
What would you?
I've got the door open over here, and I've got the lights on, so that I'm not the man of mystery. So there could be more. If you do see me giving it some of that, that's where I'm at.
Am I going to give him $100? Janelle wants to know. We didn't know. This is not a bet. This is just I'm trying to, say to him, if you are as in tune as I am, if you have the force like I have
He's
it,
coming close.
you'll also be able to suck a bee out of midair. Those gentlemen doubted my force abilities that day, and they found out very quickly.
It's a good skill.
I'm a Jedi master. I'm a Jedi master.
You are. What would you have done though if you were sucked out of the air going home mid-flight by a human? Would you have stung him?
Shit, yeah.
That's great then.
I wasn't angry at him.
No, that's fine.
I expected it to happen. I mean, I knew the possibility. I'm like, well, he's got this thing on his ass that is meant to hurt me, to keep people away, and I'm about to try to bring him at a very forceful speed into my mouth. I knew the possibility was there. I was hoping maybe he in the midst of the fear and the the confusion that he would just turtle it up and it wouldn't happen. But nope. I got the business end.
Turtle it up. What's that?
Like a turtle sucks its head into its shell when it gets scared. I was hoping maybe the stinger would go, whoop,
We call turtling it up something else, or turtle's head something else here.
What's it mean? Because you're having quite a reaction right now.
Fresh.
Yes.
Fresh.
Yeah.
I'm completely studying your brain. I'm completely studying your brain waves.
Listen to the telepathic one here.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Ben's been on the THC vape again.
No, I haven't.
I think you are.
No, huh? No more of the
No.
What was it?
This is a drug-free zone, Fresh.
That's not a drug.
Don't, Kyle. Just leave him with it.
It's not marijuana's not a drug. I see people walk around all everywhere smoking it now. I smell skunk everywhere I go.
I've never experienced it, so
I smell skunk everywhere I go now.
Yeah, you should try Brighton, mate.
Try what?
There's a place close to here called Brighton.
Oh, Brighton, yeah.
If you get out your car in Brighton, you just straight away like, hi.
Yeah. It's everywhere, man. It's pretty crazy, like how it changed so fast. I mean, even before it was legalized, it was still pretty normal, but now it's like I just see in New York City when we were there, it was crazy because I just watched people walking around just burning down. And even though I was all for it, like for many years, I always thought it was the stupidest thing to make marijuana illegal. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Even still, it was strange to see it,
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they messed up. I'm going to tell you how they messed up.
Please do.
They've overpriced it to the point where people are still going to illegal dealers to buy it. They could be making billions upon billions of dollars if they would just keep it at normal street prices, but they get greedy.
Have you seen how many bus are happening though?
Yeah. Oh, I did. I saw in New York City there was a place that got closed down. It was open 4 hours later. Back in business.
Cha-ching. One goes down, 10 pops back up.
That's right. You ain't gonna stop it. I can tell you that.
There's some big motions happening here on the scene in the UK.
Yeah.
Just over the last 2 weeks, they've just done an operation where they've done 1,000 busts. And it's all planned in operation. Not many people realise the scale of maybe the underground operation that's going on in the UK. So British Sugar have a massive, and I mean huge, growing operation down the south of England. And you'd think they would be growing sugar. but they grew tomatoes. And then just over the last few years, just to get ready for what's coming, they now are the biggest marijuana growers in the whole of Europe. So if you look at British sugar, marijuana, Ben, yeah, you'll actually see just the scale of their operation getting ready for what's happening now. So it's just been, everything's been legalized and passed into Germany. So therefore then it'll be here, you know, very quickly, I guess. But there's already shops selling medical marijuana, stuff over the counter. You know, there's places in Brighton, places in London, places in Manchester. There's places everywhere. There's YouTubers going to these places now and showing everybody what you can go and buy there, how much things are, the menus, etc. In the UK, people are using WhatsApp. You can just absolutely order anything on WhatsApp and it just be delivered.
Yeah.
There's chaos on the street.
Yeah, it is. I mean, then you still have the even the crazier part when you talk about like the dark net, where, you know, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Silk Road.
Silk Road. I knew you was going to say that. I was just about to say the Silk Road. He's a smart guy, wasn't he?
He was a brilliant guy. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And he could have done a lot of things. Bless his heart, he decided he was going to go and create the most illegal underground trafficking site that there's ever been, that made billions upon billions of dollars, and created a place where people could go and get things that they wanted that were illegal, highly illegal. And it was like a review site too. People would go, don't buy the fluffy white powder from this guy because it's trash. Buy it from this one because it's really good.
And there's a whole list of vendors as well.
Yes, there was.
And it can just be there. What time do you want it, etc.
Yeah, it was insanity.
It was crazy how he had that mad idea just to grow mushrooms, and then he had to find an outlet to sell the mushrooms. So it wasn't the Silk Road then, was it? As we know, it was something else. But he started to sell mushrooms, and because the mushrooms were so easy, he just thought, well, let's start off at mushrooms.
Yep.
It's just water, you know, water and ice.
And then it got a bit too out there, didn't it? Where people were buying babies and stuff like that, and it's just there was everything on there. They ghost guns and you know, nuclear components and heroin, crystal meth. It was everything, whatever. It was a very, very crazy thing. And then he knew, he kept watching his bank account just explode, him and his two close friends, because they were the ones who were running it. For a while, it was just him and two of his closest friends, and they watched that bank account just explode. They kept saying, what are we doing this for still? Like, do we have all the money we need in the world? And his thing was, no, it's not about the money. It's about giving people who want or need these things a place to go where they can get them safely. Right. Well, it was all to do with anti-establishment, wasn't it?
That too. Yeah.
That kind of triggered more activity on there because, as we know, you know, there's a lot of people. Do you mind?
Sorry.
As we know, that attracts a lot of people once it's anti-government, anti-such and such. You know, it brings brings a certain percentage of people anyway, doesn't it? You know, but the way he manipulated it and manufactured it to the point that it was just mind blowing in the time. Absolutely mind blowing. Just a quick question.
I want to go ahead. Yeah.
Did you see that pop up the other day and then you watched it?
No. It was on the other day.
It was on the other day.
No, I didn't. I read the book. When I was in treatment, I read the book. I've watched the movie. I've watched the documentary. I've seen the you know, the A&E show. I mean, it's just fascinating. It was fascinating to me, the whole thing.
Was that the time you relapsed after the therapy because of the book? It was like, sorry.
What a jerk. Real quick, I want to talk about this comment I see from our buddy Salty, because both me and you are marijuana smokers, admittedly, right?
Yeah.
Ben doesn't admit it, but he is.
Don't.
He says he doesn't have any personal thing against weed. However, he feels like it's being used to subdue population and make people complacent while the globalists take over.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Very true.
This is a good reason why the socialists are so adamant about legalizing drugs.
Absolutely.
Keep them subdued and needing more. Now, I can tell you, at least for me personally, I don't enjoy, like, I'm not the guy who wants to smoke marijuana and then just be like stupefied, right? That's not why I do it.
It's about using.
I do it because it helps with depression, my anxiety, PTSD stuff, but also it helps with my creativity. I find that I'm able to focus better. My mind maybe doesn't work like everybody else's, though. Yours doesn't work like other people's. Everyone's different, right? Well, some people go and they might, you know, use marijuana and they just become an idiot. You know, there's a large percentage of us out there who use it for other reasons. I don't feel like it subdues me whatsoever.
Tell them about the time when you was pulled up with that £10 of hash in the boot of your car and you said, I'm going painting.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
You said about creativity, and I said, tell them about the time, that story you had when you got pulled over with £10 of hash in your car. And you said, I'm going painting. Sorry. Yeah, basically, you either use something or you abuse it. It's that simple. And I use it to my advantage in regards to pain and basically being able to walk out the door and put up with most people, to be fair to you, if I'm honest. Because I do struggle with the parallel of intelligence. I really do struggle with it. So the form of conversation, the dramas, all of the crap that most of society deal with, I don't deal with. So
yeah, it's you know, when you talk about subduing people with drugs, I'm the perfect example of what the government could do and has done, subduing people with drugs. The painkillers, opiates, that is something that will and has destroyed a whole generation of people. A whole generation. I've lost so many people that I know to opiate overdose in the last 20 years. I mean, it's insanity. And then the ones who survive, either by the grace of God, got help and got sober, the majority of them are still struggling. So that whole thing where the government helped Purdue Pharmaceuticals to push a drug that they knew was highly addictive, highly dangerous, and they lied on prescription bottles and on warning labels and all these things to make them trillions of dollars. They did what they wanted to do. They kept probably millions of people down. More people, I believe, between the ages of 18 and 40 died as a result of opiate overdose than any other reason during, I think, the last 10 years or 15 years.
It's the synthetic world that's really took over, isn't it? You know, the cocaine was one thing, the synthetic world is another. I think, you know, what Salt is saying is on the scale when you see in through culture, through all of the new hip hop and
I love that.
People-y.
It's too people-y. You're right, Hope. It is. Sometimes it is just way too people-y. I love this. Oh, that's freaking brilliant. Oh, man. Sorry. Go ahead, Hope. Fresh. Keep going.
Hope, fresh, and fresh hope.
Yeah, fresh hope and fresh.
There is hope and there is fresh hope. Good.
I want to say real quick, I want to say hi to our really good friend Joe and Jesse from Hellbent. They popped in. They're on their way back to the Dark Corner for a weekend investigation. If you guys haven't tuned in to their latest episodes, please go check them out. You know, I'll do anything I can to get them support. They're just great folks who are doing a hell of a job at you know this stuff. They're just nuts.
Team trust.
In the
Team
best
trust.
way, they're nuts.
Team trust.
You know, Joe's Jesse, please don't get upset at this. I have very much respect for you. So much, in fact. Joe is probably the more level-headed of the two. Jesse is nuts, balls to the wall, like absolutely fearless. And just all out, like running towards portals if she could. And Joe's got to, kind of reel her in. But they just make such a great team. You know what they do, what they're doing. Just so both super intelligent. Yeah, I can't say enough about them. But so if you guys can, please, if you haven't subscribed, which I'm sure most of you already are, but go watch those last couple of videos. It's an interesting place. Where they're at now, like all their places are. Also, what was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to say hello to our friend Sharon. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Thanks for popping in. And Frankie. Sorry, I'm done. Go ahead.
Where were we?
I have no idea.
That's fine then. We'll start off from the beginning.
Okay.
It's always the way, isn't it, really? No, we're talking about Salty and his drug problems. Yeah. I think me and Salty could have some very big conversations on this topic, but it could go really one way, and I don't want it to go that way on here, really, to be honest with you, because what I know about this field and the Clintons and all sorts of the Bushes and oil rigs and soldiers, I don't even want to get started with it. So let's move swiftly onwards from the whole drug thing. But Salty, don't knock it till you've tried it. All right.
He did say he doesn't have anything personally against marijuana. He thinks it does a lot of good for people, for the record. Wonderful natural medicine, just being weaponized like many before, which
exactly that. It's everything, everything Salty, anything they can get their hands on and weaponize.
Of course.
Look what they did with. They want humans to be healthier. So then all of these companies, these great companies owned by families and stuff like that, that started out making these products and great health benefit foods and nutrients. They were soon swallowed up by the cartel, and then everything healthy then, or anything healthy or good for you, was then either stomped all over, accelerated, increased in price, and then heavily taxed. So all of this goodness and all of this, you must be better, was soon monopolized into just a cartel scam again, you know? So it's just the way it goes. It's everything. It's everything and anything, as we well know. So it doesn't matter if it's a health product or car tires. It doesn't matter what it is. They just monopolize everything. And if they can get away into the minds through culture, through the music, through the youth, and just say to them, you know, life isn't cool unless you smoke a spliff. So you need to become a bumbleclot, all right? that's yeah, and they go, yeah, and they see Little Wayne and the likes of all these 10694 and 9992 and 6 spoons and 4 forks, you know.
I fully intend to try it one day.
Yeah, you should. It's it's not half bad.
Give it a whirl.
Yeah,
I'm just saving it in the back pocket for a rainy day. But one of these days, I'm gonna burn one down.
Good to know. Could you let me know when you do? I'll be there on the other end to make sure that you're safe.
Ben, are you on about a mosque or something else? I don't. What is it you're on about?
You know,
All right, let's get into the topic, for God's sake.
Mind bending.
We're here to talk about the Beast of Bray Road and the Dogman, this Dogman phenomenon that's just taken off over, probably the last few years. It's been just off the charts. Probably started, though, 10 years ago that it really started to ramp up. I would say somewhere around then. But the very first supposed werewolf, wolfman, dogman sighting or encounter in the United States happened in 1936. And it was in Wisconsin. It had nothing to do with the Beast of Bray Road at that time. There was a gentleman by the name of Mark Shackleman who was driving along Bray Road. Bray Road is a otherwise very serene, peaceful stretch of road that cuts through a very rural, farmy landscape. Never had anything like this ever been seen out there before. But then this night would change this man's life, and then it would change the lore of the area forever. He was driving home. He rounded a bend. His headlights caught sight of what he described as a 7-foot tall, strange, dark figure lurking on the side of the road, covered in hair, on its hind legs with a canine type of muzzle and face. It obviously seeing something like that is very shocking. It would scare probably just about anybody. And it did him. He admitted it terrified him. But what was even scarier was that this thing rose up on its hind legs and began chasing him in his vehicle down the road on 2 legs. Eyes were shining yellow, towering, part man, part beast with big muzzle and sharp canine fangs. 1936 was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. I can't imagine that, anytime there was anything like this that happened back then, anyone reported seeing something that was so far out of the ordinary, generally it caused some kind of panic, or people brushed it off and said, this man's crazy. He needs help. That's just the way kind of things were dealt with. But, terrified as he was, he slammed on the accelerator and he was trying to escape this thing as best as he could. He described it as a wolf on its hind legs, running with a speed and agility that defied any rational explanation. The account dates decades before the popularization of the term the Beast of Bray Road, but this being the very first account and it happening on Bray Road, it's safe to assume that maybe this was the beast and they just hadn't coined that term yet. and it's considered the earliest reported sighting of a werewolf-like creature in the United States. Fast forward to the 80s, and that's when the term started kind of picking up steam. It captured the imagination and curiosity of locals and cryptozoology enthusiasts alike, weirdos just like us. Located just a few miles outside of Elkhorn, Bray Road became infamous as the reported hunting ground of a cryptid resembling a werewolf. Witnesses claimed to have encountered a creature standing between 6 and 7 feet tall, covered in shaggy fur, with canine-like head and glowing eyes. Reports flooded in, individuals walking their dogs, farmers working late at night. Even law enforcement officers claimed to have encountered this mysterious beast. The descriptions were eerily consistent, leaving the community bewildered and searching for answers. Sightings of the Beast of Bray Road often occurred near forested areas bordering the road, adding an eerie ambiance to an already spine-chilling legend. People reported hearing blood-curdling howls, witnessing the creature darting through the trees with inhuman swiftness, and even finding bizarre animal remains in its wake. Creepy stuff. Creepy stuff. Wisconsin is a pretty rural place in most parts. Obviously, you have the city, bigger cities in certain parts, but for the most part, Wisconsin's a pretty sprawling, rural farm state. If you've ever seen any of the documentaries of that area, there's forest all over the place there. There's these open prairies. There's farmland. You have my buddy Jay Bachochin, who's done, a few different documentaries about, his encounters with what he believes are Sasquatch-like creatures in the Kettle Moraine, which is right around that area also. A kettle here, I don't know, there what a kettle would be, probably where you put your tea. But a kettle here is a piece of forest. Down south they call it a holler. But yeah,
I didn't know.
huh?
I didn't know that at all.
Different geographical regions use different terms. Out in the Midwest.
So what do you call it? What do you call a creek then?
A creek.
Just a creek.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I don't know. A creek, some places down south, they call it a crick.
Yeah, that's the same as in the UK, but I've never heard of the word as kettle as an area. Actually, hold on a minute. There's a village near here called Kettle B. So
Is it in a very forested area?
Very small place in a wooded area, yeah. So that's the only thing. That's learn something every day, don't you?
Yeah, hey.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah.
It's they call it the kettle. I mean, plenty of places for something to hide. Jay's had his experiences up there with things in the woods, documented in both of his movies, Finding Jay and Finding J2 Beyond the Kettle, where his second round there, things got a little more strange. There was more of a paranormal vibe and weird stuff that was happening, and whereas his first kind of foray into investigating there, it was more just physical stuff. It was trees moving, it was bushes shaking, it was getting rocks thrown at him and his investigators, it was noises and stuff like that. And then there was these other things that were happening. Why do you think there's been such a rise in these werewolf encounters? This is the most. I started with this subject, the Beast of Bray Road, because it's the most famous in the United States of any Dogman sighting. This is where it started. This before the LBL, there was the Beast of Bray Road. Before there was Martin Groves, there was Shackleman. who had
do
his.
you know that? Just found some very interesting information about just the word werewolf. Okay.
What is it?
Okay, so werewolf in the etymology world is where, or we are, or we on, is only man. So WER is man. There's not a female werewolf. Werewolf are only men. Okay. Now, in etymology, in regards to the language dictionary, which I study, it goes back to the context of construction of language and what dates it was basically in people's mouths, let's say. So when it was, at what percentage was it being spoke about at certain dates? And the date that I've just checked out on the etymological directory calendar is actually 1801. So it was already spoke about and already in the dialect of language in 1801. And the scale that it actually grows to, it gets to 1960 and starts to pick up at 0.05%. And by 1980, it starts to escalate. Come to the year 2000, werewolf is huge. Come to 2019, it's grown exponentially by something like a full 2% in language.
So you're saying the word itself is being used more?
Yeah. So so it's the same as a lot of stuff in regards to language. We don't really say a lot of things anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's
please, thank you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Pleasure,
after you.
Yeah. Everything's toxic, isn't it?
Yep.
But even I was looking into the word because
I'm sorry. I'm done.
This is not a message to anybody who's watching by any chance.
No, I'm just saying you don't hear these things too often anymore.
No, you don't hear integrity, do you, anymore?
You don't.
There's no integrity. It's a rare. I think integrity is as rare as Bigfoot.
It is. Manners are too.
So my whole quest is working out what these dimensions are, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And talking about, like I was saying to you earlier on, about layers. And in all of this, I was looking into etymology on the word phantasm, because it's not used anymore, sorry. The word phantasm really isn't used anywhere, but it's an absolute mind-blowing word.
Is that an orgasm for a phantom?
It could be, yeah. It could well be. It could be anything. It could be anything you want it to be, Casey.
Okay. All right.
Anything you want it to be. But yeah, phantasm, it started off many, many, many years ago, like 1500s. And it was actually the talk before paranormal started. And the word paranormal means actually regular.
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
But phantasm's not used anymore. But in the wordology, phantasm was what ghosts were and all paranormal. So it changed. See how the language changes over the years.
Well, look at what I just said. It was a joke, but phantom.
Yeah.
Phantom comes from phantasm.
That's correct.
Yep.
Hold on. Yeah. And there's loads of things that come from phantasm, you know, because it predates everything else. So people like in 1500 didn't say there's a ghost or something like that. They went, no, it's a phantasm.
Yeah.
It wasn't paranormal. was never talked about. I've got paranormal here, and paranormal was starting to be spoke about literally in 1980.
I was just looking at the just following up with the werewolf thing that we were on. The god Apollo.
Sorry?
The god Apollo, yeah?
Yeah.
Was dedicated to the wolf. Also the god of knowledge.
Okay. Huh?
Just thought I'd chuck that in there.
Okay, so the god Apollo was the god of the wolf.
Yep.
Okay.
No. He stood. It was the temple of the wolf god Apollo, who was also the god of knowledge.
Okay. Interesting.
Just a bit of Greek mythology, you know.
Interesting. Where was the very first speakings of a werewolf, though? I always thought it was where you guys are.
Yes, I do believe that.
I think you're right.
I think there's specific areas in the world that have had certain things, which is very interesting to me. Like, it's like everywhere. Okay, when in this creative design, let's put that there, so everybody's got a bit of something somewhere, Kyle, yeah? So we talk about Pennsylvania. What was in Pennsylvania? Vampires, wasn't it?
Yes.
Transylvania. Romania. Yeah. Pennsylvania is Bigfoot. A lot of Bigfoot, isn't it?
Yes.
So the UK.
Also Dunder Mifflin.
That's easy for you to say. Yeah, the UK. The UK was headed up really in the old werewolf tales. But I'm not too sure where it actually originated from. Might be good to do a bit of digging there. I mean, I can see frequencies and where it was actually spoken about, but in regards to language, I would say I don't know if it was France. You know, to be honest with you,
if it was what?
France or Germany, because I'm talking about the word "where" is W-E-R, which is sub-German, early German. I don't think it's Old English. So, I think I'm going to say, I'm not too sure if it was English. I think it was German. And I think that when you go back into the history of the UK, I think the wild man, or what was called the wild man also was the green man, that supersedes anything that was put onto the buildings in regards to sculptures and things like that.
Yep.
France, by the way. You were on the money when you said France.
France, that's where it was.
Yeah, I thought it was either France or Germany, so European flavour because of the weather.
It's quite funny because it's Hungary, Romania, and the Balkans, and it's along, and it came along with the same as the Dracula thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's all related, because if you think about it, that's like talking about now. If we go back then, if we said that now, what we're talking about now is Bigfoot and Dogman. Back then, it was vampires,
Dracula and werewolves.
Damn it, Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie's on the money as well. That's
God damn it. I was going to talk about this, and he stole it from me. The Epic of Gilgamesh. That was the very first, as far as anyone knows, man-to-wolf transformation ever.
Well, Bernie, everything started in Rome.
Right.
Don't believe the hype is what I will say, yeah, because these people try and control the whole of history. They make history and stuff. I think it's basically finding stuff like this is going into all ancient images and archives to find out where anything predates anything. The French encrypted connection.
Do we know who the French Connection was?
Yes.
Who were they?
It's a family, a bloodline family.
They were a organized crime connection family who pumped in probably the most pure heroin into the United States that there ever was, and probably most of the world.
And
Huh?
Who were they? Always follow the money. Who were they? Who owns French Connection?
Bill, Joe.
If you follow the money, who owns
Jacques.
French Connection?
Jacques.
No, BlackRock.
Who's that?
BlackRock and Vanguard.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. Let's
So no, we're not going down that route. Just carry on with.
Okay.
With the flavour, this is in the flavour.
Oh shit.
On the line.
Yes. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Yes, absolutely. No, not for me though. The Romans did some really dirty, weird stuff.
The Romans. Let's just don't get me started here, please. Move on, please.
Yeah, they did some weird stuff. I'm not in. Anyway, back to it. But yes, the Epic of Gilgamesh was where it first really appeared in any sort of text at all. 2100 BC. I mean, it's a long time ago. It seems that there's
Is that what's BC before crack?
Before crack, yes.
Before cocaine.
Before crack cocaine, yes. It was yeah.
Just can't get away from the drugs.
Things were good then. Bernie actually, I'm sure Bernie worked through that era here in the United States, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it was awful. It was just awful what happened to the impoverished areas in this country, the places that didn't have lots of money to begin with. These places were just a lot of these cities ended in inner cities, and they ended up looking like war-torn villages after the crack epidemic. I mean, it was just terrible. But anyway, I don't want to get off.
It's all by design.
Yep, I'm sure it is. I don't want to get off on that topic, but it was a sad time. Anyway, 2100 BC, before Christ. If you believe in Jesus Christ, it's before Christ. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But again, you're going right back to what you were talking about. It appeared in ancient Greece and Rome. Like you said, everything started with Rome.
Yeah, the Greek connection is quite interesting as well, because there's lots of talk of this being like the Hercules and Samson.
Yep.
Basically, we're going back to that period where they had what were they known as? Gods. Hercules was a god, right?
Hercules was a god. Yeah. Zeus was god. Yep.
Yeah. And Samson too. Whoever Samson was, I don't recall a Samson, but there's mention of this Samson.
Samson was the guy from Half Baked. I want to talk to Samson.
And Gilgamesh was a Sumerian warrior king, right?
Yes.
So what was Samaria then, Ben?
Now you're asking me. We're talking
that's another interesting one.
We're talking about the second millennium BC here.
No, I know all about Sumerian, Tartarian stuff, but what you've got to remember this is, Ben, is that etymology is Latin, Hebrew. Okay, so it's basically Roman anyway, in its initial conception, because we're still under the Roman rule, Ben. Yeah. Okay.
What now? You mean even now?
Yes, Ben. So basically, we have what we were actually saying there is incorrect. Werewolf didn't start then, because it would actually be in the etymological language dictionary stating from that point of time. It's not predated to that. So let me just double check on that. Just bear with me a second.
While he does that, I will give you this to look at.
What is this? I can't see.
No, I can't see.
Oh,
I see. I see. Yes. The beard is looking good tonight, Carl. The beard is looking good tonight.
Yeah, the beard. I trimmed it. I realized I can't let it grow much longer than this. When I do, it just starts to look like I don't know, some out of control sheep squatch, nether regioned. Just doesn't, I wish I had that beard like Alex Petikoff has, the big long one that hangs down here. I just can't do it. My hair starts like pointing every direction, and it's thicker here, thinner here. Like I can't, you can't tell now when it's this length, but once it starts growing, it's just weird.
He's got the perfect genes, hasn't he?
He is the Chuck Norris of Bigfooting. He is. He's
Ben, sorry, go on.
He's like, I forget where his dad's from. Eastern European, I think, somewhere, some place that had to do with like the USSR or Russia, I believe. I mean, he was in a bad place for a long time. Poverty and war and all that shit. He had to go to war, his dad did, and then they lived in South Africa. I mean, he's really a well-traveled guy. Oh yeah, Shade, you did like that video? That wasn't me. That was fresh.
I like that video.
The classics never die; they just get better with age.
Can we hear a little bit of that London accent tonight?
So listen,
bruv.
Listen, bruv. It's the Order of the Garter.
Tell you what.
It's just a worldwide conspiracy about lingerie, bruv.
It's getting there now. It's
getting better. It's getting better. He's been practicing, hasn't he?
It is.
I haven't been done it so long. I feel like it's off.
Oh yeah. So we're talking Middle Ages, Ben. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Middle Ages, dating thereof of the weon, which is man or male, as in person, male. But the interesting thing was that wolf was never WOLF. That's why you always see in Germany and them kind of in that area, it's wolf.
WER, yeah.
No, it's W. Have you finished? It's WULF.
Right.
All right. So
with the two little dots.
So it's where wolf with the two dots over the U. So that's original. So I would say, I'd go German, Romania. I'd go somewhere around that area. I would.
Yeah.
I'd probably go more German, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And if you say Middle English, that's when it was noted within the dialect of the English language, starting at 1801.
But so we know, like, when you talk about Transylvania, the vampires, we know why that started. That all started because of Vlad Dracul, who was a real person, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, or it could even be like a cover story up for the early days of people like now in today's society that bloodlet and still feed the way that they feed.
Well, Elizabeth Bathory. Did you ever hear her?
Yeah, they're still very active now. They're all very active.
No, there is vampirism going on now, in the real world today.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely.
Not in the sense of like how people have been sold what Bigfoot looks like. It's the same as what people have been sold in the ideal thing of looking like a vampire, what a vampire looked like, you know. It doesn't, it's not that. Your vampire, when they say about they live, they're all around you. These people are around you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeding off everybody. That's what they feed from. They feed from us. So we've gone right off topic there. Well, we've not, but we have. Are you all right? You're just having are you having an adjustment?
I had to adjust the computer stand.
Oh. I'm just making a drink. I do apologise.
Where's he going?
He just said he's gone to make a drink. He does apologise.
just gets up and walks off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Cole, going back to the Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah.
I was just reading about the reporter that got involved from the Walworth County Week, which was one of the local newspapers, called Linda Godfrey.
Linda Godfrey. Yep.
Yeah.
God bless her. Linda was amazing.
Right. So she entered into the subject as a skeptic.
Yes, she did.
And
so did I. I did as well.
Yes. Yes, I was just reading a little bit about her and when she got involved in, I don't know whether it was 1980 or 1990. I think it was 1990. That Linda Godfrey, to cover the story, but later became convinced of the sincerity of many of the witnesses.
So she did. She was a reporter, like you said, for a newspaper there, small town newspaper, basically. And, in these small towns, when these things happen, it becomes big news. And this was a big deal. It had been going on for years. People were consistently having sightings and encounters, and they all were very similar. And so Linda was tasked with, following up on this stuff. When she did, she had no desire to learn about it. She wasn't on her radar. She wasn't into this stuff. She was a full-blown skeptic when it came to anything like this. And over the course of time, interviewing these people over and over, excuse me, sorry. She just had she had an epiphany. She just, she was talking with regular everyday people, small town folk, farmers, husbands, wives, police officers. There were multiple police officers who had seen this thing. Very trustworthy people. And one of the things that she kind of consistently felt was that these people were they were as trustworthy as you could get. I mean, they were the upstanding citizens of their community, and they were the pillars of their community, and it would have done them much more harm to talk about something like this and be lying, you know, than it would have done them any good to be talking about it and telling the truth. But she had a very hard time, and it came down to, you know, well, I can't. She just didn't have. She didn't have that feeling. She had an overwhelming feeling that they were being honest. And when she started getting into this, she started finding out things on her own. She started investigating places too. She's investigated with Jay, who I spoke about earlier. She's been on multiple documentaries. She's published many books. She's been on news shows. She's done it all. And God bless her, she passed away a few years ago. Sadly, she was somebody who I wanted badly to have on this show. I had a lot of respect for Linda Godfrey, and I wished I was able to sit down and talk with her. But you know, she was one of those people. She was a small town girl with level head and a lot of intelligence, and she seen and heard things that she couldn't explain. This even led her down the path of other cryptids. She's done, Bigfoot stuff after this, but to her, it started with the Beast of Bray Road.
And the articles also later became a book, right?
Yes, it did. Yep. She did. She published the Beast of Bray Road. And then there were follow-up books to that too. She's got a collection of stuff she's published, man, and they're all great.
So there you go, guys. If you want to have a read up on this yourself, that would be a good starting point.
It is a great starting point. She was a great writer. She was very talented. She was very smart. She was very thorough. I think more importantly than that, she was super, super level-headed and a skeptic going into it. And she came out a believer. She had experiences even at her house with strange happenings. So her house, the way that it sits is the one side of her house has like the yard slopes down pretty dramatically. And so she has a deck. That would be on the first floor that wraps around part of the house. Because of the way the yard slopes, the deck is up high off the ground, and the ground literally is like a foot in front of where the posts are for the deck is all woods. I mean, that deck is right literally against the wood line. She had a dog out there one night when she was with her husband, and they heard something like literally just like barreling through the woods towards them. And then as it got closer, started slowly walking more methodically and ended up right under the deck. The dog was freaking out, terrified, shaking in between her legs, wanted to go inside, crying. They could see something, but they couldn't see it clear enough. Jay Bachochin was there, and Jay ended up running after it into the woods. Never got a clear look, but yeah, some weird shit went on there. She also was there when Jay got hit in the head with a rock in the woods. Almost put him out cold.
I was just reading the comment from Autumn Leaf.
That's great. Hey, Joe, Jesse, guys, please be safe out there. Can't wait to see what you guys find. We are with you in spirit. Kick some ass. Oh yeah, before you go, if you hear this, knife check. What are we rocking for the knives tonight? You guys have a knife fetish.
Talking about fetishes.
Okay.
I'm sure that no, I shouldn't say that in the same context. I think that Jesse was previously Tokyo in Money Heist.
I still haven't seen this.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I still haven't seen this. Does she look a lot like this person?
Oh God, yes.
Like like her.
Yeah, she's very much like her. Yeah, but she's hardcore. I mean, Jessie, she was a problem child.
Joe, do you hear what he's saying about your wife, Joe?
She's still a problem child.
She's a problem woman. She's not a child.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Thank you for the knife check. Cold Steel Bush Ranger for Jesse. Operator Bowie for me. Sounds good. Spoon check for Fresh. They can't have knives there.
Yeah, we can. Oh, we can. Well, I do. I do.
Oh God.
I have a little something. Yeah, that's why the thing is, Joe, we have to kill with the hands and the teeth. So that's basically how we're trained. So it starts off an early age. We haven't got these things, it's not like we're going to get like a pop gun out and cap a man's ass.
Well, guess what? I don't do knives. I got a Glock 19 Gen 4.
Oh, have you?
That'll do the trick.
I see Smith & Wesson brought out a new MP the other day.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
I'd really like a SIG. I want a SIG. That's my next
really?
Purchase, I think, yeah.
Compact!
Yeah, no, not compact.
Oh, isn't it?
No, I want a full-size SIG.
Oh,
yeah, no.
Okay, you're going big boy.
I don't care about... It doesn't bother me to have a big gun attached to my waist. It doesn't bother me much. I mean, I get it. I know people why you have a compact, little pocket 45 or something. I get it. But there's just something about pulling out a full-size, 40 cal or something. People looking at that thing and they go, "Oh, okay, that's trouble."
It's not required.
It's not. This is going to be messy.
Somebody handed me something the other week that's just under 50 cal, yeah, and it's from the 19. I'd say it's probably from.
You showed me this.
Yeah, you see this thing.
Yeah, that was a crazy looking.
With a stock on it, on a revolver.
Yeah, crazy.
For me, it would be a semi-automatic 9mm Beretta.
That's what you would carry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good gun. I mean, there's plenty of good. The 1911 is such a beautiful, fine gun. I do like the Glocks. They operate really well. They're smooth. They're Smith & Wesson 500. Yeah, that's a monster. That'll blow your shoulder right out of the socket.
Elephant gun.
Yeah, Bernie, you're absolutely right. 100%. Yep, 10 millimeters, definitely the gun I want. Unfortunately, when I bought this gun, I wasn't really thinking about bears. It was my very first gun, and I still like it. I mean, it's good. I mean, if I pump off a whole 10-round clip into something, I think it'll do the job.
I'd say so.
I think so. I mean, I can't, as long as I don't aim for the skull, because I'd probably hit a bear skull with those bullets, and they'd probably just smush.
See, in America, you can rage and go off and go mental in the street. I'll go off mental with guns. In the UK, we have rampage rooms. And we go in there and beat yourself up and smash stuff up. Behave yourself. That's what we have.
They have places like that in America where you can pay to go in and pound on a car and TVs and walls and all that stuff.
Yeah, just go to town.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're that stupid in the UK, they hurt themselves.
What's that?
That's stupid in the UK. They end up hurting themselves. So they can't get insurance for these places. So they just end up being on farms.
Salty, your Taurus 9mm used to be enough for a bear to second guess their life choices. Yeah, I'm sure it would be. Hold on 1 second. I want to look something up real quick.
I used to have a mate called Godfrey. He was an atheist.
That's great.
Thank you.
Here it is. This is the next.
No, that was porn. I can't really see that. What is it? Oh,
that's a P320X full.
Oh, P. Yeah. Sick.
Yeah,
Sick.
that's it's just such a nice gun. My buddy's got one. He's fitted it with a beautiful holographic scope, and yeah, it's such a nice gun, man. It feels so good in your hand, and I just love it. A Walther's a nice gun too, really nice.
We could be here all night, couldn't we, with guns?
There's many.
Absolutely.
I understand too why people in this world. I understand why certain people want fully automatic weapons. When you have the type of things that happen today or going on today, it's not the gun, it's the person.
Well, there's a group, a rap group in England called Goldie Looking Chain, and they say it's guns don't kill people, rappers do.
They do, yeah. They do.
Goldie Looking Chain. If you ever want to hear something funny, it's a Welsh rap band.
Oh boy.
Have you never heard of Goldie Looking Chain? No.
No.
You'll find it very, very funny.
I'll have to listen. Yeah. Anyway, we've gotten way off topic. We're on guns.
Absolutely, as per usual. The bearded one.
I asked about a knife check, and then we got into guns. But anyway, back to the cryptid stuff. Yes, Linda Godfrey was a very sweet woman. I spoke with her briefly prior to her passing away, just through email. She was wonderful. Sadly, I never had the opportunity to speak to her in person, but was this
the time when you was going to speak to a daughter?
No. Are you thinking of? You're thinking of Woody Derenberger's daughter.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
From the Mothman prophecies. I've talked to Tanya multiple times.
I know, but we don't need to say what the ending conversation was. But
it's all right that we've talked since then too.
Oh, good.
And kind of ironed that all out. But that's another interesting one that man, you talk about some crazy shit. Whew. I mean, she swears by the fact that Injured Cold was a real extraterrestrial from another planet who looked like you and me, and he was real, and she saw his spaceship. I mean, she saw he told her father things that nobody could possibly know about the future of the world. I mean, they were friends. Crazy. But anyway, I don't want to we gotta get way off topic with this stuff. God.
Just hold on a second. What was that person's name?
The daughter?
No. They said that the guy was another species of being.
Indrid Cold.
Indrid.
Indrid. Indrid. Cold. COLD.
Indrid Cole. Right, cheers. Okay.
Got something?
No. What I'll just do some work on that. If supposedly that's what this person is or proclaimed to be, it'd be interesting to look into that a little bit.
Very interesting. That whole story. That's part of the Mothman prophecies. That's how all that started.
I'll tell you something that came across me this week, which was Kushtaka.
Who?
The Kushtaka.
Kushtaka.
Yeah.
Kushtaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Native American.
Yeah. So this in whereabouts? In whereabouts in the States?
Whereabouts in the States?
Yes.
Is the Kushtaka? Oh gosh, I believe it's out west. Or maybe it's shoot, is the Kushtaka up in Alaska?
Yes.
It is, right? Yeah.
And I always I'm not too I don't know if I subscribe to Mothman, to be honest with you. Yeah, I find it quite a funny thing. The same as an otter man. That's what
I did too.
That's what
until I spoke to Doug Hychek. And Doug said that him and his wife driving down the road saw an 8-foot long flying humanoid with wings like a moth. It's hard for me to brush off someone like Doug.
There's been a lot of these sightings in the UK, actually. I think it's Cornwall, isn't it, Fresh?
What, from the Mothman?
Yeah.
There's been 2, hasn't there? I know of 2, but I don't know if there's basis of truth in that in regards to what it is, or it could be easily described as something, but it could be something completely different, if you know what I mean. Sorry to confuse the situation, but just because it flies, what signifies it's a moth? It could be fly man, yeah. It could be bird man. I used to be condor man years ago.
Well, the reason they called
it condor man.
Condom man.
No,
not condom. No, not condom man.
No, Condor Man.
Yeah, Condor Man. I used to be Condor.
The movie. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have.
Obviously, because I used to be it.
Right.
So, but they called it Mothman because it resembled a moth. They said it had big round eyes that glowed red, right? Had these wings like a moth. That's how they described it, looking like a giant moth.
Now, somebody said something about otter. I'd go,
you did.
No, but if somebody said to me, I've seen a geezer that looks like an otter, I'd go, did it have a tail? And they go, no, it didn't have a tail, but it had an otter's head. I say, well,
did it have those cute little arms and hands to smash mollusks with?
Oh, no, I don't know. No, don't start. I'm trying to be serious, if you don't mind.
Did this guy describe this person as having a bad smell?
Well, it was flying.
Otter stink.
Oh, right, the Kushtaka. You're on about the Kushtaka?
Well, you mentioned
Kushtaka, though, is not about it. It's not an otter.
Yeah, it is. The Kushtaka is an otter. It's an otter man.
It is?
It is, yes. It looks like an otter.
See, I'm getting confused. There's a village in Alaska that's been abandoned and like just not inhabited for a very long time, and it used to be a very bustling village. And what happened in that village is there was a creature apparently that was coming and totally like harassing everybody there. People were going missing. People were dying in violent ways. And I thought that was attributed to the Kushtaka, but it couldn't be, because this was a Bigfoot type creature that was doing this there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just,
Alaska's a weird place, man.
Oh my word, I'd love to go to Alaska.
It's a beautiful place, but it's a weird place. There are so many mysterious disappearances, missing persons, UFO reports that come out of Alaska. Like, it's crazy.
I'd be one of them, knowing my luck.
Yeah, me too. I know.
I'd just be gone to that.
Yep. Sucked up into the sphincter of space. Yeah,
the abyss.
Yep.
I've always, there's only certain states in America I fancy going, and it's probably, that's increased really down due to the topics that we've been discussing for such a long time. But yeah,
Bernie's talking about, we're going back to the smell. He says bad smell is relative. You're right. Usually it is my relatives.
Here's a funny thing, and something I was going to ask you about bad smells.
I'm an expert at bad smells.
Beef and onion. I don't want to know about the cheese, the feta.
Oh boy.
So when we talk about smell and people purport that Bigfoot has a smell, or whatever it is has a certain smell. Well, I was going to say to you, because like you previously experienced a lot in the paranormal world, didn't you, before you started stepping over into this game?
Me?
Yes, you, Dave.
Yeah, yep, I had some, yep.
So in the paranormal world, when we have an apparition, or we have something come through a layer, or we have something come through anyway, we always have a smell, and that smell is like they say it's a sulfuric kind of sulfur, urine, ammonia kind of smelling smell. Yeah,
I've only heard of the sulfur smell, and usually the sulfur smell is directly related to, at least from what I know, if you smell sulfur, get the hell out.
Yeah.
It's related to something dark. Matter of fact, I know in Ireland, Leap Castle is one of the most haunted places in Ireland, and it's supposed to be haunted by an elemental spirit. And that whenever people have had any kind of encounter with something bad in that castle, it's been after they've had that sulfur smell, and then something violent happens, or
It's like a crack in the veil. It's like something that's come through. It's not necessarily meaning to say that one object smells. I don't think that's the case, and this is what I'm just finding out with layers, is that there's a misunderstanding. There's some correlation between what people are saying with Bigfoot when people say about the smell. I think there's a big misunderstanding here with the smell, because I think it is bursting through. I think it's the same. I think it's one of exactly the same thing. That's what I think it is, and I think it's just being misconstrued.
I don't know. I could see a creature like Sasquatch stinking to the high heavens. Makes sense. If it doesn't bathe regularly, if it's out there in the heat, in the swamps, and all this nasty stagnant water and all that shit, doesn't wipe with Charmin,
But that is if it's a flesh and blood.
Right.
Would that be the same then if it wasn't a flesh and blood? I don't think it would.
I don't know. I can't say. But what I can tell you is, in the times that I believe I've had something around me like that, I have only had I've only had a smell at all, maybe 3 times. Maybe 3. And 2 of those were at this new property. So I hadn't experienced that smell before at all.
I have a waft of it, but that is my colostomy bag most times.
Yeah. I mean, if I eat Taco Bell,
it's rich. It's rich.
It is rich. Yep.
No, but I do think there is a correlation here in between what there might be. I'm not saying there definitely is. It's just a theory that I have, is that smell, this one burst, this poignant smell that everybody relates to, is relatable into both contexts of the paranormal or the supernatural.
I could see maybe the sulfur smell being related to paranormal more, but when you're talking about like what I smelled in those woods, to me doesn't seem like it would be paranormal at all. It smelled so natural. It smelled like a porta potty sitting in the sun.
But we know we could have something going off. We could have something rotting. There's a lot of smells that we have in the woods, isn't there? So we can't actually just say you come across a smell and just go, oh my word, that's ridiculous. I was kayaking the other day, and I was going down a waterway, and I came to just literally a whole, basically a veil of scent, and it smelled like marijuana. It's absolutely stunk like of marijuana. So I'm looking around the banks of this waterway to see if there's marijuana plants growing there. But as soon as I went through it, that was it. It's gone. But it doesn't mean to say there was growing marijuana. It was just a relatable smell. Yes, Ben?
Yeah, but there's a plant called a skunk cabbage, right? That grows here that stinks. You smell that, right?
Yeah. That's
Sometimes get that out. I come across that, and it's fascinating. It's so pungent.
It's really strong. It really.
Yeah, you're looking for it growing. That's how strong it smells. But it's just that skunk cabbage.
It really pulls you. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. A smell could be absolutely anything. It could be something rotten. I mean, the amount of waterways and stuff I've been to over the years, I've come across waterways where we've got. You walk towards it. Obviously, you've not seen the waterway already, and you smell something that is just absolutely heinous. It's worse. You can imagine it's literally a tramp's foreskin kind of smell, and you're like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh my god!
And as you get to the waterway, there's a sheep decomposing in the water.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is then you walk another 200 meters down the way where the weir is, and all the locals are in there washing.
Yeah.
Funny.
Ben, that's the story I was talking about, Portlock.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. That's very fascinating.
That is a interesting bit of history, and I believe that there's a group of locals that have gone back there now to try and take the land back, and they've also had some pretty bad experiences, I believe.
Yes, they have. Matter of fact, Les Stroud, Survivor Man himself, he did an episode there.
I think I saw it. Was that the one with the tree that snapped on the bank?
I believe that was the one. Yes.
When he was camping on the shoreline.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you all this right now. I'm currently trying to get Les on the show.
Oh, cool.
With the help of one of our good friends.
Good.
He thinks it's possible. I want I want to talk to Les about his experiences because he was another one who didn't believe in Sasquatch at all until he started piecing together these weird things that had happened to him over and over when he was out, doing these survival missions in the woods by himself. And he's by himself. He doesn't have a camera crew. It's him and his camera. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. This isn't Bear Grylls. This is the real deal.
He comes across as an interesting guy. Actually,
he's a very interesting guy. He's a very down to earth guy, from what I've been told. Super nice guy too, I guess. But his encounters and accounts are pretty astounding. Some of the things that he's heard and had happen. That tree snapping behind him.
It was fascinating. I saw that episode.
The bluff charges that he's had happen, where he thought, maybe it was a bear or something, and that didn't end up lining up very well.
There was also the disappearing apples, wasn't there?
No, that was you.
No, that wasn't me. That was Les. Les is
all the apples. That's right. That's when he went with Todd.
There would never be a dull moment. There would never be a dull moment with Les Stroud because he has done so much. It's just
so much.
It's been unequivocal.
He's been everywhere.
It's not just a story. He's got so much to talk about. Adventures, plane journey. He's got so much to talk about. It's just not one thing. It's like it'd be interesting to hear what his context and take his things is now. 10 years on, so to speak.
That's exactly why I want to talk to him, because it's been so long now since since it all started. Bernie says that in interviews with Les that he's heard, he's always so cagey about what he knows, he holds back. I don't know. I've only seen I've seen videos of himself like talking about these things. He never says flat out that Bigfoot exists. He never says, anything for certain. But I think that speaks to credibility, because
that speaks to a lot. That speaks about a lot of us. We're exactly the same as this context. You know what I mean? I'm exactly the same as that. I'm in his basket.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen it up close and personal, to be able to say for sure, this creature I saw is real. If you've only had these experiences, these strange experiences, you can't say it, and that speaks to credibility on his part.
I think Bernie makes a good point though, which is when you're in the limelight and there's so many people funding you, let's say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to kind of be quite PC about stuff. I think if you spoke to Les Stroud on a very private matter and he got to know you before you actually had a good chat with him, and then as you got to know him, he'd probably tell you more stuff. I think what he's got to tell you off screen to what he has on screen would be completely different.
Probably. I think that's true for a lot of people.
Oh God, yeah, because there's so many people watching, so many people that you've got to tick boxes to. He knows how the industry works. Yeah, he's got bread and butter he needs to bring in, and he's a pro at what he does, but he knows how to play the game. I guess.
Well, I also know that after he had done this first set of Survivorman Bigfoot, that there was talks to do another show. It was such. I thought it was so well done. To me, it was so good. It was so believable. It wasn't, sensationalized bullshit. And so they had talks of doing another show. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to keep things under wraps because they were going to do another show, and maybe that's where he was going to reveal more, and then it just didn't happen. I don't know.
Well, the truth will always find its way out if you find and press the right button. So,
right,
that's your job, dude.
Right? Yeah. And well, you know, and there's only so much you can, you know, it's you try to talk to people and you try to make them feel comfortable. You try to let them know that this is a place where they can speak about anything, and I'll do my best to keep them, you know, safe and all, you know, all that stuff. But it all comes down to what they feel comfortable sharing. It's not the same as being in person where, okay, either you talk or I break your friggin' arm, you know, you break a leg. I'm going to break your legs. Just talk now. I'm going to break your legs. You know, that goes a long way. Physical pain makes people do things a lot of times they don't want to
do. Yeah, like get out of my gown. No, I think Les. What I'm saying is Les with a beer is a different Les with a device filming him. Let's just say that it's
right with a contract that he has to sign.
You got it. So when you've under contract, you've got to watch what you're saying. You've got to watch this. You've got to watch these things because you don't want to lose that. If that's stead for you $120,000 for 9 months' work, you're not going to jeopardize that. You're not going to sabotage that.
It'd be stupid to ask somebody to.
Absolutely, because it's only based on personal opinions, which in most cases are conjecture, but they don't want that being the narrative being fed out there. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think Les is very. I think if you actually spoke to Les on an honest, truthful tip, true to himself, he probably plays a difficult world. He's probably in a very difficult place.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Constantly, you know, juggling and trying to be this and trying to be that. I think it's probably difficult. I bet it's bloody draining for him, you know. To be honest.
I'm sure.
But yeah, that would be very interesting. Have you ever heard of somebody called Black Mass Paranormal?
Yep.
You've heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about him? Okay, it's like that. Right, speak later.
Why do you ask?
Just wondering.
Is there something that has caught your eye?
Well, something popped up the other day, and it was. I just thought it might have come across your path. That was all.
What was it? You can talk about it.
Well, I don't think it's a topic now because it's kind of like it seems to have gone the other way. It's all gone a bit like sour, isn't it? So we'll leave that.
No, it's not sour.
Oh, isn't it? You're just not a follower of his work.
You know, it's very hard to follow everybody.
We'll leave it there then.
It's very hard. I mean, I don't honestly.
What is it that's caught your eye, Fresh?
I don't know. I don't want to really go into it. Actually, I just wondered if Kyle. I just wanted. It was.
Never mind. I'm thinking of someone completely different.
It was just a yes and no answer.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I do know Black Mass Paranormal, and I do rather like the guy. We'll
talk about this another time then with it. All right. So have we wrapped up today's topics of conversation? Would you say, gents, or are we still on the topic? Because I just wanted to know.
And I mean, my biggest thing is with all this Dogman stuff. I'm curious with the uptick in sightings if it just becomes a manifestation of what people are hearing, and then you hear it more often, you see it in videos more often, it becomes the next cool thing in the paranormal world, and people kind of latch on, and you know, how much of it is real and how much of it is what people go into places and they maybe, you know, they're not very educated in the ways of investigating and that type of thing, and really being able to in the moment take data and you know, keep themselves calm enough to know really what they're seeing and what's going on, and they just go, oh, it was a dog man, it was a dog man, it was a dog man. I mean, you know, it's become the cool thing.
It's becoming the new narrative, isn't it?
It's become the new Bigfoot. It's become
as Bigfoots now cannot be found, no evidence, no anything else. It seems like the percentages or the law of averages now are persuading, kind of going towards something else, which will then take the new narrative. If you just step back outside the box, you can watch the kind of pattern that's developing, can't you? I think that's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just become the cool thing now. Like everyone's talking about Dogman. It's like,
I wonder
are there that many more Dogmen around? Was there a breeding? You know, like what happened? Did the Dogmen that were here go out and, you know, find themselves a girlfriend and just start banging out Dogman pups, and now there's a whole bunch more, and that's why people are seeing more of them? Hard for me to believe that that's what happened. So why is it supposedly people are seeing these things more and more?
Can I just interject on the level of logic, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
If Dogman was real, there was no way to be able to recopulate, because there's only Dogman.
Right. I've never heard of a female Dogman or werewolf.
So this Dogman lasts forever. They don't have females. They don't have babies. Yeah. It's the same as the werewolf. The werewolf. Well, how can the werewolf be a constant thing? As the little baby werewolves like scampering about, looking for a bit of stuff, because it's only werewolf, which is we've now defined as a man being, yes,
right,
or a man that changes into a wolf. So this thing has to. You can only kick a can so far down the street.
Mm-hmm.
It has to go onto something else, doesn't it? As we well know. So Dogman can't have sex and go and bang Dog Woman, because we haven't got a Dog Woman. But it'll be amazing now, as I've put that into the ether, how many days or weeks it's going to take now before Dog Woman comes out. Super snatch.
I've seen some women who were friggin' dogs in my day, but
I tell you what, mate, you want to go to the north of England? Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
I met a girl once. She could have cane rode that.
She could have what?
She could have braided it, cane rode it.
Oh my goodness gracious God.
Savage.
Bernie brought something up regarding Dogman. Other than media and lore, have any of us here ever met anyone who's actually seen one? I've talked to two people who claim they have.
No.
One of those people was, and I didn't get to talk about this earlier, was a gentleman related to the Beast of Bray Road story who lives on Bray Road. He was a farmer. He has a large plot of land right there on Bray Road. And he saw this thing in the back of his field. And this is a guy, again, Linda Godfrey spoke to this man. One of the people that turned her around from a skeptic to a believer was this gentleman. He is a no-nonsense, no bullshit guy. He's a old school dude, like country farmer, not into any funny business. And he swears up and down what he saw was this crazy thing that defied all logic. It was on canine type legs, standing upright with a giant canine like head, pointy ears, fangs, and yeah, I mean, that's what he saw. And he said he'd swear on it to anybody, anywhere. And then he told me the whole story of, you know, what how he'd gone out that night to, I guess, put some like last bit of farm equipment away or something. And it wasn't dark. It was kind of dusk. You know, the sun was starting to go down. So, you know, the light was low, but it wasn't dark. And there was this thing that came stepping out of the woods into the back of the field. And he said, I knew it was large. I could tell it was large from where he was. He said, I couldn't see what it was, so I had to move in closer. And he moved in closer and got a better look. And he was within, I forget what he said, somewhere around like 60 or 80 yards away, which is not that far. 60 or 80 yards, you know, you can see still pretty damn clearly what's going on in 60 or 80 yards.
Depending on what the atmospheric is doing, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, again, clear, very clear. It was a totally clear day. The sun was setting, but it was still out. There was ambient light and in a wide open field. So,
well, it's very, very interesting to know what people are actually seeing. I can't see anything being around for a long period of time, because then it would be it'd be like a snail, it'd be like a snug, and it's kind of like asexual. It bangs itself, yeah. So it self-replicates. Oh dear.
oh man, oh god, and then there's this one. Here we go. Wait until the feminists and progressives hear Fresh's take on this. Soon we'll have to call him Dog X.
That's my new rap name is X Dog.
We'll have to call him They Dog. Them Dog.
Yeah, so I had a conversation like through this whole period of the last 3 years. You know, like it wasn't really my circle, but I spoke to two people. And one lady had never really told this story to anybody ever in her life. And the other one was a potato farmer. And I happened to visit this guy's farm because a friend asked me to help him out. And while I was there, I just thought I'd ask him the question, because he's a big landowner. And I mean, he has hundreds of thousands of acres of potatoes. So he's a big concern around the area in the world of spud. And I just asked him very simply if he'd ever seen anything strange, heard anything strange, or anything to that effect. And he said to me one day, leaving the farm, he travelled up this lane, and you go up this lane, it comes up to a brow, then it goes down a hill. And he said, when I came up to the brow, as I was going up there in the old Sherpa van, this huge black thing basically jumped the road. You know, it put 1 foot down and jumped the road. And he said, it slammed on the brakes. Not that I was going on too fast, not that I was going fast anyway, because I'd only just turned out the farm. He said, but this huge black thing with dog-like legs bounced off the road, went into the field, and you watched it run down the field. You know, quite a big mass. And I mean, I said to him, you know, kind of, how big was it? And he said, well, big, the whole of the windscreen, you know, it was a big thing. And I said, oh, right, okay then. And I said, what, how many years ago? And he says, you know, it was like it's probably in the late 80s. And I said, right, okay, that's interesting to know. And a Sherpa van is like an old Leyland van. And I had a neighbour, and it was her that I spoke to when I had the weird experience, because she was, you know, good friends, and she lived right next door to me, you know. And when I came back and started to be ill, you know, she was concerned for me, and she came and she was saying to me, you know, why have you come so ill? What's the matter, Mark? I says, I have no idea. And I told her exactly what had happened with my experience. And she said, I've never told anybody about this. I said, but when I was a young girl, I was in a lane near a place called Ratsby in Leicestershire. Said I lived in Desford, so I had to walk down this lane to go to a bus stop. And I said, and adjacent to where I needed to go was another lane. And I said, and as I stood in this lane waiting for a bus to come, I seen something come across the road, come into the middle of the road. And she said, as I turned round and had a look, we both kind of looked at each other, and I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I was in literal shock, because what actually I was looking at was a giant kind of dog. And she explained the muzzle and the hair on the muzzle and everything else like that, and how its head was elongated. And she said it was a real weird body. I said it was such a weird thing, a massive chest, but as it stood up and pounced off, I could see that it, you know, had a tail and it got dog's legs. And she said, I just ran. I ran home, and, you know, my dad took the mick out of me, but I refused then to go back down, and I refused to get a bus. So my dad then had to take me into Leicester, into the, you know, in the car. And they're just two very simple local stories within, you know, just a few miles of my old location, because I just asked questions. Strange.
Well, you know, that's like that's such a like that's one of the best ways to get this info is if you're able to talk to locals where these things are happening and see what they have to say. You can learn a lot, you know. These small towns where people don't talk about things much, if they're willing to tell you that something strange is going on, well,
it's where these places are. Something, whatever goes on, you know, when I was discussing about the whole study, the paperwork that I've been reading in regards to the Rotham mystery, in regards to beer and houses and Carl Grove, you know, it's are these things always there? Is there a layer there that we can't see, and then it becomes energized? The layer then becomes energized because there is a ley line there, and that's how they pass and come across things. Does it actually necessarily mean to say that it actually is in physical form? Could you actually touch it, or does it actually look just 3D in another dimensional world?
I think the Dogman. I don't think it's a physical thing. I think it's more of a paranormal, supernatural thing. You know, along the lines of like spirits or demons or whatever. I think it probably comes and goes. I don't think it hangs out in the woods and lives in the woods.
So what about Bigfoot then?
Again, it's hard to say, because I have physically experienced activity with these things. I've seen, I've smelled, I've documented, you know, physical things that, you know, it's hard to put that away, but also it's very difficult to accept the fact that these giants can live in the woods, just completely unseen. I mean, I've heard them within 30 yards of me or 40 yards of me. There's no question in my mind when I'm at that property with that man and we hear these footsteps and you see the bushes moving, but you can't see anything else. Nothing. There was twice now where I thought I had gotten a glimpse of maybe at the top of the head, or maybe a side of the face or something. But again, in an instant, it's camouflaged or gone. I can't. It's so hard to say. So I don't know. I have physical footprints. I've been physically hit by rocks in my back. You know, it's just, who the hell? I don't know. It's strange, man. It's all just strange. And again, maybe it's not as complicated as we're making it. Maybe it comes down to something as simple as a science that we just don't understand yet. A bit of science we're not familiar with, because we don't know, we're saying, okay, it's got to be interdimensional, it's got to be alien, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, when maybe it's fully natural.
You're just clutching at straws, and it's just...
But we just don't know. We don't understand the bit of science that this thing has a grasp on.
I think it's all... I think in a collective, it's all joined. It's all relatively connected. All of it. It has to be that way, because there's something going on where something's coming across. It's like when I look at stuff in regards to layers. When you build a stage, you have the forefront, you have the say the hedges, then behind that you have the trees, and then behind that you have the grass, and then behind that you have the sky, and then in between that you have the actors, then you have all the little bits and all these kind of props. I do believe that we're in a layer system here. That's the dimensional stage of it all. But there's different things that exist and work within the layers, and we need really the understanding in here is not the knowledge, it's the understanding of the mechanics that we need. And that's the focus really, is the mechanics. That's the necessity to understand all of it, because there's no point. If you don't know the mechanics, we're always going to be in that situation in a loop. So as I was saying to you earlier in regards to the connectivity of the whole thing to do with the energy lines and the three parts of them energy lines and how it all connects, and where all these things, like I was saying, the specific buildings, let's say, are all put into them kind of lines, and all of these ley lines or energy paths all go across these areas. Like the one from England goes across England, all starts from the south, cuts across Glastonbury, cuts across other specific key areas in the UK, which have been stone, like the Great Rollright stones, other stone features, and other stone buildings and stone structures of time gone by. And that's where a lot of the rituals and all the cultism and all the gatherings are happening, as Ben knows. And this dates back to all Druidism and paganism as well. So everybody knows about it. It's known about it for a long time because it's been built. It's already been built upon. And maybe people previously that had a lot more development than what we did, because we're now been dumbed down, and I believe we have been dumbed down in a major way, is we're very limited to what we can see. We're limited in our senses. I do believe previously that we probably had more senses than what we've got now. We've definitely been dampened down in them, that's for sure.
Well, we had a larger connection with the outside world, for sure, Fresh. 100%. We had to have, didn't we? Hunting, they didn't all come into the warm and turn the heating on, did they, back then? It was, you had to hunt with your hands, you had to kill with your hands, you had to feed your family with your hands. So they would have had a greater understanding of the outside than we do now, for sure. 100%.
There's so much that we've been dumbed down with through foods, toxins, and everything else like that. We don't even know. But I tell you, in the animal world, an eagle to a human being has 75 times the strength and power of that eyesight. And I think the eyesight and the spectrum analysis of what the eyes can see is a very, very important thing. I mean, I was speaking this week in regards to, you know, if we look at spectrums and spectrum analysis, what our eyes are actually seeing, if we change the colour patterns in regards to the front of the eyes, like selectively animals have got, then we see something different. I'll give you an example. If I'm snowboarding, which I used to do all around the world, when the low light used to hit us, we used to swap our goggles or glasses for yellow lenses. And what the yellow lenses did then was pulled out all the definition. And it's the same in regards to shooting as well. It pulls out definition that you can't usually just see with your naked eye. Okay, so things become a lot more clearer. So I was then talking to my brother who does sound engineering and, you know, lighting rigs and stuff like that. And we were discussing the combination of colours that basically pull big definition. I was saying, you know, is the saying like of rose tinted glasses, is that basically a secret? Are they saying like in They Live, if you put these glasses on like rose tinted glasses, you actually see things more clearly?
Well, there's a thing with chickens, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know about the chickens that when they see blood, they can't stop pecking, so they put these little red glasses on them, yeah, so that they can't see the blood anymore. Completely stops it.
Yeah, certain colours to certain animals make them do certain things, Ben.
Yeah,
they really do, and they can mess things up for them animals, you know.
Yeah.
Like certain animals that, you know, see red, then can't see anything. It actually cancels out their vision. Did you know that?
Yeah,
That's why the bull gets confused when it sees red, and it gets angry and frustrated because its vision now is all been what's it called? I don't know. Can't think of the word. But yeah, it's been compromised. Its sight's been compromised by the red. So the red in the spectrum analysis for certain animals just enrages them, you know. But I think this whole spectrum and the spectrum of what we see and the ability to what we see has a massive thing to do with this. Like I was looking at, you know, reptiles and snakes. They have infrared. They have infrared.
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do.
And a lot of animals.
The pit vipers can see heat all the time. That's how they strike.
All the time, yeah.
So that's included.
That's right. So we've got a lot of animals then, and if you think about that, we are only an animal, but we're an animal in experiment. That's what I think. But we're all created chimera, just the same as the animals, but we've been put here to do a certain task. So we've been designed and created a certain way that we need to be, not like the rest of these animals, because we don't need them skills and abilities, because we were designed for a certain task. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's science. Bottom line. I mean,
So we didn't evolve. We've all been created. We've all been created and manufactured this way to be this way. Like we were saying before, in earlier days of Tartaria and Samaria, the intelligence then was ridiculous. That's where all of your massive buildings are from in America and stuff. It's got nothing to do with the Freemasons. It was the Tartarians.
Here we go.
They tried to bury it all and then take it over. But anyway, coming back to the eyes. Eyes are very important, and they do very, very important things. But I think over the period of time, we have been limited and restricted in our abilities and capacity to what we can see, hear, and perceive. And I think it's also as well in regards to logic and intelligence. I think we've become a lot thicker.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it all the time. The more you learn to rely on all these creature comforts, the less you're connected to your natural gifts.
Well, if we're dumbed down, we become more reliant and put faith into everybody else and everything else that's being told to us, don't we? Because we're too dumb to work things out. Don't forget, you're completely educated to use 10% of your brain when there's all different names for all the different areas in your brain, your thick tits.
Yeah.
So you'll never use 10% of your brain, will you imbeciles? But people believe they do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I do think that, we're a lot more advanced in thinking. We're a lot more advanced in a lot of stuff to what the normal person is, So what makes us different than everybody else? It's a different understanding of something that they don't even have an understanding or grasp over. So in a way, we're already levels of dimension above the dimension that they already sit in. So surely we can progress our levels in dimensional learning. Yes?
Sure.
Yep.
Good.
Ben, what were you going to say, buddy?
I can't remember. I can't actually remember. It was just something about was it about animals or sight or something? Oh, I know what I was saying. I just said it's our way of lifestyle now. It's made everybody more lazy, hasn't it?
Yeah. That's yeah, of course it has.
We've got
lazy and sleazy.
Yeah, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
we don't go out and kill. We don't go out and kill an animal anymore, do we? Pop down the supermarket, don't we?
That's what. But we have a choice, don't we? We have a choice. We have a choice to be that way. We have a choice to decide to be a certain way or not to be a certain way. I'm specifically deprogrammed for a reason, because I knew I'd been lied to all my life. But I was exactly the same as everybody else at some point. Yeah, a mongoloid.
But let's not be stupid here. Even an animal who is connected to its most basic senses and the nature around it is going to take the easy meal if it's offered.
Of course, yeah.
This isn't just human nature. This is nature. Period.
Yeah. If you was a bird and you flew out and there was a load of currants or something like that on a bench, you go, wallop, I'm in there. I ain't got to fly around like a knobhead getting all these bits.
No, because at the end of the day, the most important thing in any living thing is survival. Yeah. So whatever can make that survival the easiest is what it's going to do.
Yeah, totally. Now, this is great that we've got onto this subject, because did you hear the report this week, right, of the magpies? No, Fresh, lift your head up and listen to this. It's interesting. You know the bird protection spikes that's put along buildings to stop them nesting. So the magpies have been taking the spikes and putting them in their nests to stop their nests being attacked. How cool is that?
Do you know something? I nearly said a minute ago how animals have had to adapt because of urbanization.
Yeah.
Right? And you want to go and discover certain things. I spoke to Kyle about this. Go to the bloody nests and have a look in the nests, because it will blow your mind. Yeah. And the magpie and the jackdaw and the rook and the crow are very, very, very smart animals.
You mean the corvid family, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Yep.
And basically, they are one of the smartest. Same as is the minor bird part of that? It isn't it?
I think it is. Yes.
I think it's in the same. I think it's in the same family. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are the smartest birds ever, because they've adapted. They've completely adapted. And they've adapted in ways where, 40, 50 years ago, they weren't even doing the things that they were doing.
No, that's totally good. I just mentioned that because we were talking about how nature, how, as Carl said, it will take the easy meal. There's, to me, a perfect example of an adaptation that's, how crazy that is that they're taking the spikes and putting them in their next place.
Something that was meant to keep them away
is now they converted into making
they
life
looked
better
at that and they said, I can use this to help me survive.
Yeah.
It's clever, isn't
amazing.
it?
Absolutely
It's
amazing.
incredibly clever. And this is what nature does, man.
Yeah.
It has to.
It's what nature does.
Is it this is the key thing. It's very good here. Is that evolving or is it adapting?
It's both. You evolve from adapting. You adapt in the short term, you adapt, and then slowly you evolve to those adaptations.
Yeah. So is it hold on. Is it evolving then, or is it developing?
What now?
Is it evolving then, or is it developing? Because you're developing. You're every day's a school day. You're a whole learning. So you're constantly developing. You're not evolving. You're not changing from one form to another, which evolving is. The caption of evolving, that's what evolving is. Of one thing changing and morphing into another thing. We're not.
That doesn't mean physically changing.
Yes, it does. That's what evolving is. That's what evolves.
So evolution. So evolution is only physical.
Evolution. That's what evolution is.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's saying that we came from a monkey. That's what evolution is. The model of evolution. Yeah. If we want to say what it is.
You're talking just about the physical. There's more than just physical evolution.
No, not in my world.
Yes, there is.
In your
if
world,
we just physically change from a monkey, we'd still be a fucking stupid, upright walking idiot. We wouldn't have the abilities we have.
Well, that's debatable.
How is it debatable?
Because it's down to belief what somebody believes.
It's not. That's science. If evolution is more than physical.
Science in context is just a theory. Anything scientific is just a theory. Science is a theory.
But you're arguing about science right now.
No, I didn't mention science. You did. I said, is it developing or are we evolving? No, we're developing.
If evolving is the long term, adapting is in the moment, right? You adapt to something in the moment. After you adapt to that thing and you continue to adapt to these things around you over and over, becomes evolution, because then it's ingrained in generations. Generations change according to the way that they have to, because of what's around them. So we didn't just change physically. We changed mentally. We learned that in the beginning, we didn't know what fire was. And then we learned what fire was. We learned that it kept us warm. It kept us alive. It made things easier, right? That's not a physical adaptation.
Well, you could say socially then, couldn't you?
Of course.
So you've been socially created, because we know we're engineered. We're talking about natural intelligence adaptation. That's what I'm talking about. And we are progressively learning all the time, developing all of the time. But evolution as a model, if we want to talk about evolution, is moving from one physical state into another and changing it.
It's more than physical. It has to be.
I'm not, we're completely different in our beliefs. We know that, yeah? We know that. So I respect what you say. You believe in science and the things that you do. For myself, I don't. So in my belief, I don't. So I'm not going to subscribe to it and agree with you. I'm just going to go, thank you. I respect your belief.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's funny as well. Back to the Bigfoot thing, right, guys? It's very interesting when you look at a bird that's managed to adapt like that in such a small time, say 20 years, they've been using the spikes 20 years, 25 tops. But then when you bring it back to Bigfoot, you know, and the subject, could it be that that has also adapted to our ways? It's learned tricks to avoid us. It's learned tricks to hide from us.
Well,
it's looked at our weaknesses over and over again.
It's not a bloody
and
much
it can
choice.
predict exactly how we're going to be in the woods or when we're out and about.
Well,
to miniaturize its footprint. You know,
if something lived outside and you're going to keep constantly building on their stuff, something would have to adapt, like deer or anything else would.
They?
You know, they have to adapt, but also, you know, it's not just adapt. They can utilize that, like the intelligence that they have, like the magpie, like the crow. So, like we've had with the that clip from a few years ago, Kyle, of the casino. Oh God, what they call them? Skip. We call them a skip in England.
A dinghy, a boat?
No. The casino. Do you remember the casino footage where the
in the dumpster?
The dumpster. Yeah. So we call them a skip. So they're called dumpsters. You know. So things have encroached. Like Las Vegas was never there, was it? It was all just land.
Yeah, it was just desert.
It was a desert.
Was it just desert, Kyle?
Yeah.
Just desert. Yeah. There's no woods or anything else like that.
No, it was desert, man. Sand. There was some small mountains and shit, but no.
It's like in the UK. We never had certain areas in the UK. They've just been built. You know, every area. You know, but Milton Keynes is one of the new generation cities in England. So that was one of the latest places to be built, a new generation city.
That's like Abu Dhabi too, right? Correct.
Yeah. Just it's a lot shitter looking, Kyle.
But the same premise.
Yeah, but the entertaining, the best way to say it is the attractive thing about Milton Keynes. It has concrete cows in fields. That's your tourist attraction, you know.
I think Bernie's fucking right. We are both evolving and adapting. In my opinion, at our base, we are basically the same as we were centuries ago. We could fall back to the dark ages, savages in a nanosecond if civilization fell apart.
Yeah, look around you. Well said, Bernie. That's a really good thing to say outside the box, because looking around you, what's going on. As I said earlier, we're animals. Look how we behave. Look how we behave.
So this is it's kind of a crazy thing though, because we have the abilities to live sophisticated, right? Civilized.
Mm-hmm.
We have the abilities to get along. We have evolved to communicate. We've evolved to understand. We've all these things. We live in creature comforts and all this stuff. But if that all went away, then we would essentially devolve in that instant back to when we were barbarians and violent. It's like ultra violent hunters, killers, and protectors. So is it this oh God, how do I say this? It's not a it's never a rock solid thing, right? We anything can adapt and evolve to be better, quote unquote, more civilized and yada yada. But the very instant that their world changes for the worst or shit hits the fan, then is it saying that all that adapting and evolution and evolutionary changes is erased? because we then start acting like we used to.
I think the skill, you keep the memories and the skill sets and the abilities to get back there. So if we basically had a massive war or some attack overnight, and we just literally, it was what the hell, you're going to have to live back to that point. Yeah. Now, the most skilled person who's been in the woods, who knows how to cook and do all these things, the basics of survival, that's what survival is, the basics of survival, they're going to get on. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only going to be so much food, so many people you can tap, but it would just become like Mad Max, wouldn't it? Be a Mad Max state. But you would find a group of people and in your own choice would choose to recolonize and build things back up again. Because it'd be a logical thing to do as you find groups of people and pockets of society to be able to do that again. Then again, you'll then come together, unite, and protect yourself against all of the freaks that are running riot, wouldn't you? You know, and hope that their numbers are less than yours.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we're very vulnerable, very delicate, aren't we? Because things can happen just in an instant, and we have to adapt and overcome very, very quickly. Very quickly. But I think that comes in our engineering in regards to, you know, having skill sets to be able to have the capacity and the ability to survive and do these different things. You know, if you hadn't been you know, in military experience and stuff, you wouldn't know all the stuff that you knew. So it's kind of like culturizing that person. If you was a tribes person, you're cultured to basically all of them skills and abilities. You don't need anything else because you don't know anything else. You don't know there's no other attractions for you, is there? But we have choices in this world, and we make a lot of bad choices for sure.
Yeah. This is I've heard this quote before. I think it's great. I don't know who said it. E-Rev says he believes it was Gene Toomer. I'll drop you off in the woods with a hatchet. Start making a cell phone when you can send me an email.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, man.
Get whittling.
Yeah, get whittling. That's right. Bernie says, look at our cousins, chimpanzees. They're very social within their tribe, but savage and warlike to rivals. I don't think I've ever seen anything more savage in my life than a chimpanzee attacking a rival.
Yeah,
it is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's saying something.
It is, but it's the same as like in places like Haiti, though, where that's kind of culturally standard. You know, you have human meat markets, and the lower level of intelligence, if they've seen a white person in a place they wouldn't be, 6 people would run in and rip you to bits and hack you up for the meat market.
Well, yeah, look at the cartels in Mexico. Look what they do to people every day.
Yeah, and it's, you know, sending messages and stuff like that by, you know, what they do. But what are we? We're just animals. We have a choice to be like with standards and stuff. We have a choice to be a certain way. We have decisions to make. We have a standards. We have our own personal standards and stuff. And that's how we are.
Speak for yourself. I don't have any standards.
I'm not saying anything. But you know what I'm saying.
Look who I've got for co-hosts.
Say no more. Say no more.
No, stop it. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, of course. It's
a crazy world. I wanted to say this real quick because when we were talking about this whole Dogman thing, and you know, this all pertains, this evolution and all this stuff, it all pertains to what we're talking about. But I want to say that, you know, one of the peoples that I know who you know, believes in this stuff, we're going back to him again, but it's no coincidence, it's Joe and Jesse. And they have, you know, Martin Groves is a good friend of theirs. His story is crazy, but it's difficult not to believe it for me. There was other people there too for this whole thing, but Joe and Jesse filmed something in the woods with their thermal that looks like a dog, man. Looks like a giant dog head, werewolf head, pointy ears. It's strange.
That's why I was speaking about Black Mass Paranormal.
Why he filmed something?
Yeah.
Why haven't you sent me this? You sent me that crappy video of that.
That was just to show just the latest state of new things that they were bringing out, because I knew that nobody would have seen any of that footage on there because I hadn't seen any of it, and I was just like, oh, here's some new bollocks. I've got to put this out.
Yeah, all AI bullshit.
Yeah. But this is quite an important thing to make a comment on. Is we're going to get to the stage where we're not going to believe anything soon.
Yeah,
and the whole narrative is to confuse the consensus. So you are basically never going to believe in anything soon if you don't start logically processing stuff that could actually be real. A lot of stuff they're going to show you. We could see some stuff soon that could be real, and you'll just go, "That's bollocks." That is.
Yeah. 100%.
And like you might show some stuff to people now, and it will be 100% true. You've spent years and years and years waiting to get that piece on film, that perfect image, that clip. You put it out there and they go, "That's bollocks." And you just go, "What's the fucking point? What's the point?" You know?
Absolutely.
That's why it's important to, have these people and have had all these real experiences and stuff, because we know we can soon smell a rat, can't we?
Yeah. Have you two guys heard of the Mayaka skunk?
Of course.
Sorry?
I didn't hear you. I just said pardon. What was it? Sorry.
I said, have you heard of the Mayaka skunk?
Yes.
Right. Have you seen the footage?
Yes.
What do you think?
You're talking about the pictures.
Yeah.
I think it's an escaped monkey.
Right.
I think it's an escaped monkey. To me, that looks like a chimpanzee. Looks like an older chimp with longer hair. It just, to me, it doesn't look like what I would imagine a skunk ape to look like. Number one, it looks way too much like a regular monkey. And we all know that Florida is the #1 state in the United States for trafficked exotic animals.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that some, cocaine drug lord at one point had a giant monkey in his house, and maybe he got raided, maybe he had to flee the country, maybe he just said, "I can't keep this giant monster anymore," and let him go in the woods one day.
I think it's cocaine ape, that one.
It is. You're right. Like cocaine bear. It's cocaine ape.
Cocaine ape, that one.
That doesn't mean to me that there's not skunk apes down there. I fully believe there are. And Mayaka State Park is a hotspot for skunk ape sightings. But do I believe that there are 30-foot tall giant monkeys running around down there? I don't believe that. But I believe that there's skunk apes for sure. You talk to enough people, enough credible people, and I go back to Kerry Arnold, because Kerry was such a breath of fresh air. He was he had so much integrity. He was so down to earth, so composed, so humble, and he talked to so many regular people. Oh, Jesus Christ. You see what I see?
Don't put it up. Don't put it up. There's no need.
Oh, Christmas.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm glad you checked, Bernie.
Goodness. So but he spoke with again, those type of people, so many of them, especially in his first documentaries.
Yeah.
These were the salt of the earth type of people. When you speak with these people and you listen to them, you pick up on energy, right, from people. It's very I'm not saying it's a science. It's not a science. I'm not a psychic, but if you've lived a life at all that wasn't sheltered and inside a bubble, and you had to, you were put in tough, scary situations with shady characters, and one of the things you pick up is the ability to read people very easily. You have to, in order to get out of these situations and survive.
Absolutely.
Lord knows I put myself in some situations that were awful, that I probably shouldn't have survived.
I think a good point to make is that you're a product of your environment. So the longer you're in the environment, the more you're going to be conditioned within that field, aren't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and also the ability to read things and learn more things and see more things, because the more you're in that environment, anything that sticks out or is obviously a subtle change or anything else like that, it's going to be quite a big thing, because it's so obvious, because things are so quiet. And
right,
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you made a good point. You have to, as we know, in the field, and you, Ben, when you're around certain people, working on a door will teach you body language in a big way. Being a protection officer or something to that effect is part of the cause. You watch an eye movement, you watch a shoulder roll, you just watch somebody move slightly, just drop even. You know what I'm saying, dude? You know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even that foot maneuver, as soon as that foot goes back, we're in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going straight for your throat straight away, ta-da. But we're a product of what we know. That's it. It's good to have all of these things rolled in, isn't it? It's like being a polymath. It's not being a master of one thing 100%. It's being a master in your environment within all your skill sets of being a polymath. So you're a master of lots and lots and lots of things, but not a Jedi master of just one thing 100%. And I think in this world, that's what we need, especially in the field.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, yes, the point is what I like, that those people that he spoke with, to me, were of the same ilk as he was, and I got nothing from any of them in those first documentaries, not his interviews on the show, because there were people on that show who were full of shit. But the first documentaries that he did, those people were the ones where I watched and I went, yeah, I don't think any of these folks are lying. I got
That's exactly what I was saying. I said exactly the same thing. I loved the format. What they used to do,
was great.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved looking forward to just watching that. Yeah, because
I watch them still.
This is where we should be now. Who's doing that now? Nobody. Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, though. You got to be able to pick up and travel. And
the thing is with Kerry, fortunately for him, he had a good income. He had an expendable income that he could just go, bosh, that's what we're going to do that per month. Yeah.
He had a supportive family, he had a supportive wife.
Family. And he ticked all the boxes. It ticked all the boxes. And because he was the person that he was with the family and stuff, it's very much different than, a big bearded bloke turning up with tattoos just by himself with a family. You know what I'm saying? Who's the toucher in the Prius?
Don't even. I'll accept who's the murderer in the Prius, but don't you start saying toucher. That's Ben's thing.
Bring in the toucher.
Have you been touching, Carl?
Is this?
Nobody.
He rang me up yesterday. He rang me up yesterday. He said, I'm making some observations. I said, where are you? He said, outside a primary school. I said, get out now, please.
Oh, God.
It's dangerous, isn't he? He is dangerous.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely, next time we come on, I'm going to be bringing up a big study paper that I think people are going to find interesting. And we may even get somebody, we may even get an interview with a guy called Carl Grove. That'll just be a one-on-one with you.
Me? No, you'd have to do that.
No, it's not my show. It's your show, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know anything about this guy.
Oh, but you will soon do. You don't know about anything about all the people that you have on, but you soon do. Don't try that one.
Well, no, I know usually who I'm having on. I know about them.
Well, we can go. We can talk about Carl Grove, and we can talk about the whole time slip and interdimensional phenomenon. That's it's my thing. It's not anybody else's thing. I know it's my thing, but what have I just found out is very, very interesting.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't understand that stuff the way that you do.
Yeah, Fresh, you're gonna have to interview this guy.
You're gonna have to take lead because I don't understand that stuff as well as you do.
Yeah, nice one, lads.
What?
Don't what it.
You'd be fine.
I'll ring you tomorrow.
Here's the deal, and I wanted to say this before too. This is a channel, and Cryptic Connections is a channel, just like CBS, ABC.
No, it's not just like that. No,
but in the way that they are a channel, right?
What is a channel?
And they have multiple shows on the channel, right? This is a channel. It has multiple shows on it. I have a Wednesday night show that I usually on Wednesdays. That's just me. And I interview somebody or people on that show. I haven't given it a name. Because it was under the Encrypted Connections banner, but it's probably going to have its own name. This is a show on a channel called Encrypted Connections. The show is called Sideshow Saturday, Sideshow Sunday, Freak Show Friday, whatever the fuck it is. Whatever day of the week weirdos we'll call it.
What we do, we keep them on the toes. We shouldn't. We're just live. It just ought to be called live.
Just live. That's it.
Bernie said we also have channels. The English channel.
Channel. So this isn't my show.
Yeah, it is.
This is our show.
You're the boss.
No, I'm not. This is our show. It's under my channel.
I'll see how it's gone now.
But this is our show.
See how it's going now.
Right, so you'd be fine. You could either do it on Carl's channel or you could do it on my channel.
See what he's doing now, Bet. And see what he's doing.
No, not at all. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is.
He's stealing the top. He's stealing the top geezer for the content. You see this?
No. It's because you've got the background to this.
And you'll know a lot of bloody stuff, but this is just an important one because when we go through this and we start talking about this, there is going to be so much that resonates to everybody else who's going to be privileged to watch this. Yeah, I tell you now, things are going to start clicking into place in a real big way, because nobody's discussing any of this shit like this. We're going to be discussing it. Nobody's discussing it.
hope the cooking show will be on soon.
Cooking.
So, what would be your preferred approach then, Fresh?
I'm going to have a chat with a gentleman over the telephone call. That's what we're going to do first, yes?
Yeah.
And then we're going to take it from there. He just reached out to me, so he wants to know everything about everything. He may want to talk to my brother as well. But there's something that's literally dawned on me this week, which I should have thought a little bit bigger and deeper about it, which was the guy that actually came into our experience. So the weird guy that came into the experience and into the lane and sat in his car for ages, then he decided to walk up the lane, and then he sat on the bench outside the house. Now,
yes,
I don't think he was actually part of that. I think he was just the same as what we were, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, we've talked about this, definitely.
And if he's actually gone back there now to do his tossing, his dogging, his spit roasting, whatever it is he fancies on a Sunday afternoon or whatever, then he may have gone down to sit on that bench, and he may be experiencing the same kind of issues that we have psychologically, etc. In how's the house gone? Where's my bench? You know, I really would love to try and track down this guy and have a conversation with him now, you know. Put the tossing to one side. Let's have a chat about you going back down there. What have you got to say about that, you know?
Yeah, I think it'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I do believe that. Well, I'm inclined to think that he was more three people mating at the same time than basically being part of it because of what he said.
Yeah,
I just find it, and what he was wearing, etc., from what I've now found out and discovered over the last couple of weeks. I would say that it's a very interesting one because it's somebody else that's part of it, where that doesn't usually happen.
No.
In all the cases that I've been researching and stuff, there's not any cases where there's another third party involved. It's either one person, two people. That's basically it. It's very, very weird thing. But, you know, we're going to be talking about layers and stuff and how we can't see into these layers that are just walking straight in front of us. And that's why maybe the holographic field of layers isn't the physical. And it doesn't... Was that a fart?
Sorry?
Was that a fart?
Not for me, man.
I thought I heard a fart.
I'd be happy to admit it if it was, but no, it wasn't.
I thought I heard a casual pocket sneeze.
It's windy here. Can you hear the wind? I can hear the wind. The wind just whips.
Sorry, I got interrupted by a fart.
No, there's a storm here, mate.
Oh, this is strange. Very, very strange. Very strange.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I'd like to go in depth about this study paperwork and stuff, and I think there's going to be quite a few shows maybe in relation to this because I'm gonna fancy let's think it bigger, and then it's just gonna it's gonna blow up. I know it's gonna blow up. So if you don't mind listening to any of that, that's cool. We've got a lot of other stuff as well. I've been looking into also. So Bernie,
Salty's just admitted that he blew up.
Oh, it was cheers, Salty.
All right, so that clears that up.
It sounded like a peanut.
I think Autumn Leaf might be a little confused. They don't actually have English channels. Bernie was joking, saying that they have the English channel, meaning the body of water.
It's the pond. It's the pond that
divides. Yeah, he was being punny.
But it's not actually the pond that divides. It's the pond.
I've got a channel you can check out, Autumn, if you want.
He does. I was actually going to tell you. Can you link it?
I can't link it. No, it won't let me do it on your.
Hold on.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you link it.
Thank you.
Not really it's not really worth doing because nothing goes on there or anything.
He's been doing more. He's been doing stuff again.
It's completely pointless, really. But I would do it.
I'm going to be back in the woods soon. All right.
That's the other thing I want everyone to know. I am not going to that property right now for two reasons. Number one, it's too hot. It is so gross and hot, and there's so many damn bugs. It's just uncomfortable. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. I don't want to be out there in this mess. Number two, there was some stuff that it happened after the kids left that seemed to maybe agitate the whatever's out there a little bit. So we're kind of giving that time to mellow out a little bit, and can
you say what's happened, Carl? Can you go into it?
So after his grandchildren were there and his kids with their their wives and the kids playing out in the yard and whatnot for 3 days or whatever it was, things went quiet for a couple days, and then all of a sudden he had something hit the roof of his house, is what he said. It sounded like, and then we found a big rock on the roof. He didn't even know it was there. I saw it. A big rock. I mean, like, it was big, dude.
What material is his roof?
It's wood with shingles over it.
Oh, okay.
Plywood with shingles. So yeah, the big rock hit the roof. There were more vocals that had started coming out of the woods that sounded more angry to him than he had been hearing. He had some what he described as sounded like things running through the yard in the middle of the night, like really heavy footfalls running through the yard. And then this all went on for about 4 or 5 days. He had the slaps against the house again in the middle of the night, and then so then it seemed like they were upset. Basically, what it seemed like.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you said it sounds like they were upset. Do you think that they were upset because the kids left?
Yep.
Right.
I do.
The front door's just open by itself.
What?
The front door's just open by itself.
Oh, it's probably just DoorDash.
Fuck knows.
When he said that, when he told me, he asked me, he said, "Can you skip coming up this weekend?" It was Father's Day weekend. He said, "I'm having my kids here, my grandkids," and I said, "Yeah, that's not a problem. I don't want to interfere." He goes, "It's not that I don't want you here," he said, "but I don't think it would be as beneficial because there's going to be kids running around the yard, and I in my head, the first thing I thought was
best time.
It's the best time. He's got no idea. I didn't want to have to, try to argue the point with him because, obviously I'm going to give him his time with his kids. And so he went, and one of the things I kept thinking were, they're probably going to love this, having these kids there, having these females there, right? And he said that there was no activity whatsoever while they were there, none. It was dead silent. My thought is they were so intent on watching what was going on. They were so intrigued by it that they remained silent.
You don't move much when you binge watch Netflix, do you?
No, you don't. You don't.
You don't. And I didn't move much when I watched Breaking Bad.
No, me neither.
Right. Exactly. Bernie. I'm glad Lewis and Clark, Sir Walter Raleigh, and Ernest Shackleton weren't soft like Kyle. Well, good for them. I can't deal with the heat, man. I just can't. It's just too gross. And I'll tell you right now, the black flies right now are awful.
I tell you what, the bites this year, the flies, because of how the weather, what they've done with the weather, the growth is unbelievable, and the growth is keeping the humidity in a lot of warmer environments. So insects, it's the greatest mating and feeding ground for insects. Yeah. And I went down the woods. I got bitten 28 times. When I get bit, they're literally like I don't know, they're just like caverns, man. It takes me ages. I mean, I just picked a scab off my elbow after 18 months of being bit on my elbow.
Dude, my legs and my arms, I have bites on them that have been there for 2 months.
Horrendous. Yeah.
It's not worth it. That's why I'm not going back in either. I'm not going back into it's comfortable.
Me neither. I'm gonna wait. It's too and listen, if it's too hot for us and uncomfortable for us, it's probably not comfortable for them. I mean,
I get wrapped up. I mean, I was down there the other day. I've been down there quite a bit, to be honest with you, because I need to be keeping an eye on stuff for subtle changes. And that's one of the things with me. I just have to do it. So I do get wrapped up. I wear, my repellent and stuff like that, and just get in there. Whether I'm not getting bit now. I was just stupid. I went down in shorts and a long sleeved t-shirt instead of just
That's what I did for just once. It was the day you told me I was going to get bitten.
Yeah, so don't do that. Off you went.
I did it.
The problem is I have these health issues already with my thyroid and with the sweating illness that I have. I'm not joking. It's true. I have these issues, and so I'm very heat intolerant already. When I get out into that environment and I start moving around, I am instantly drenched. This is not an exaggeration. I am drenched like somebody's pouring buckets of water on me. So it's not comfortable.
It's not comfortable. I mean, I understand, I've been in them situations. I was on a job once, like we spoke about the two-piece suit and all the rest of the stuff before, but 43 degrees walking around on a 12-hour shift with your eyeballs, you've got to be switched on. Do you know what I mean? You're walking around with a pump action shotgun. You are what you are, yeah, and that's it, basically. And it's uncomfortable. There's nothing worse when you've gone back and changed into 3 shirts in 12 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
It's disgusting.
I'd be changing 3 shirts in an hour. That's not even a joke.
It's not nice, it's not nice, I've been in many, many situations, like me and my brother, you do festivals and events and things like that, and you get a few days in, you're just like, oh my God, I can't stand this shit,
Yeah, Bernie says great athletes perspire a lot. Look at Michael Jordan. I make Michael Jordan look like the Sahara Desert. I can't possibly explain it to you just how bad it is. I can sweat even in the cold, and I mean dripping.
Do you sweat? You sweat looking at a thermometer, don't you?
I could, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I can sweat doing nothing. I can sweat moving around. But if it's hot out and I start moving, it is just completely intolerable.
I think basically, Kyle, if the same as what I was saying earlier about product of your environment, if you was in that environment, you had to be in that environment, you would condition yourself to that environment. Your body would naturally do it. It would do it as a natural process because your body is amazingly adaptable, same as your skin. It's the biggest organ of your body. So I do think over a period of time, if you was in that environment for a long period of time and you had to, you would adapt.
But it's a medical condition.
Right. Well, I sweat out of one armpit mentally. It's ridiculous. It's like having a waterfall on the side of me, yeah?
But this whole what do they call that?
Perspiring?
No, there's a term for when you sweat too much.
Rainfall.
No, there's a term for it's a medical term. This is even beyond that. Like this is different than that even. It's on a totally different level. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I could fill cups and cups of water with my sweat. And it's not just in one area, it's everywhere. It's my head, my neck, my face, my chest, my stomach, my back, my arms, everywhere.
I wonder if that's what's happened to all of them people that have disappeared and David Polides have had this certain condition. They take all the clothes off and go, I can't sweat anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't cope with it.
Yes, that's it.
They're not actually been taken or anything. They've committed suicide because they're sweating profusely.
It's too goddamn uncomfortable.
They've turned into nothing. They've sweated so much they've turned into nothing.
They're sweating themselves inside out.
They just evaporate.
They've evaporated, exactly. Yes.
Look at that, where's he gone? He's only his clothes. He's steam.
He's totally
become steam. That's what happened. We'll find Carl's clothes and his trainers, and he'll just be steamed off somewhere.
Dude, I went today to go take care of the cat, the outside cat that I still drive over and take care of every day.
You drive over the cat?
Because I had those cats that I would care for every day.
Yeah, we know the cats, yeah.
So I went over to do that today, and it was 90 degrees and 95% humidity, and I was just feeding her, and I was there for like 30 minutes with her, and I wanted to make sure that she had her little tent up so she could go in the shade and all that. I wasn't doing anything overly crazy. When I got in my car, I knew it was going to happen. I had another shirt in there because I knew that I was going to soak through the one that I had. I wrung the shirt out, and it was like somebody ran it under the water.
Oh dear,
it's awful.
Do you suffer with beef and onion?
No, it doesn't smell. It's not smelly.
Okay.
It's not like that. It's just this like constant. I'd be in a store, even like in Target. I had a guy come up to me in Target a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Are you okay?" So I was standing in an aisle, and my face is just dripping.
I think Ben. I think Kyle and Lee Evans would get on.
They would,
wouldn't they?
Who the hell's that?
Evans. Have you never seen Lee Evans, a comedian?
Lee Evans.
No.
Lee Evans has your problem. He sweats a lot. So when he's on stage...
He's very funny, but if you see him on stage, he's just like a wash.
I've been to see him 3 times. In 2 hours on stage, well, the longest I've ever seen him on stage, a comedian does a 3-hour set. I mean, it's not heard of, is it? Yeah?
No.
But he'll go and change and shower 3 times. Because he's had that much cocaine on stage. It is lethal. Please watch him. You've never seen anything like it. It's called the human shower.
Well, I'm not doing cocaine, so.
No, I know, but it could be all the toxins coming out of your system.
Toxins? It's been 10 years, bro.
Yeah, no, you could have fucked it up. That's what I'm saying. The things do have these effects on you. You know,
my grandmother had a sweating disease too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she didn't do drugs.
Do you remember having a sweaty lip on your paper round?
A what?
Sweaty lip.
Yeah, I've suffered with a sweaty lip.
Did you have a sweaty lip on your paper round?
I still get it now. If I have too much meat, I get a sweaty lip.
Oh yeah, that's called the meat sweats.
That's the meat sweats, the Debbie.
Yeah, that's meat sweats. That's normal.
That's just normal. There's nothing wrong with that. Farmers have a lot of that. That's why they can't grow moustaches. You never see a farmer with a moustache. Remember that. Meat sweats. Right. So we've gone to usual 90 minutes has now proceeded into the 3-hour zone, which is which is not normally. The boss is not laying it down here, so it's usually 90 minutes. So we've prolonged that, but we haven't been a trio for a while, so we'll let that slide.
So
Yeah.
What are we letting slide?
It doesn't matter, Ben. It's for us now, Ben. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning. So,
Well,
Jesus.
I'd like to know.
This is the commitment.
It's not 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 12 minutes past 2.
That's what I meant.
What did I miss?
It doesn't worry. Don't worry about it now.
Well, I am. I'm a bit concerned.
Salty, you're not a farmer with a moustache. Pack it up. I've seen you. You've got a beard and you feed celery to animals.
Salty's going to come on the show. E-Rev, I meant to mention this last week because I caught it at the last moment on Wednesday. E-Rev said that he would come on the show, that he would come out of the darkness too. So
Good.
If that's the truth, Rev, then you need to contact me.
Step into the light.
Come into the light, Clarice. Come into the light, Clarice.
Yeah, don't go back into the shadows, boys. Get into the light and girls.
Right. So
6 minds are better than 2.
Sure.
Hold on a sec.
As long as they're not arguing.
Hold on a sec. There's 3 of us here. Which one hasn't got the mind?
Sorry?
I said, which one hasn't got the mind? You said that there's. You said 2. Forget it. It's all right. It's past.
We just figured that out.
Jesus.
Ben, I think you just outed yourself.
I think it's too tired now for you, Ben. You've been up too long today.
That's all right. I'm tired too. I didn't sleep last night.
I didn't.
I'm doing even less of that lately.
It sounds like it's very, very hot there, Carl.
Oh, it's wretched here, dude.
I'd love it. I would love that.
It is wretched. If somebody said to me today, you can go live in a beautiful Caribbean island, or I'm going to ship you to, Canada, the northern part of Canada. I would gladly take the northern part of Canada in an instant.
I think I would as well, actually, because I love the northern part of Canada. I've been there, but when it gets too hot, I've got a gold G-string that I wear with my gown.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I've got one too.
Yeah, I wear a G. I like it's nice.
Yeah, mine's gold sequins.
Oh, mine's not.
Nice.
Mine's not that snazzy. It's just a gold material.
Mine's a bit brown.
Oh, that's terrible.
I don't need to know that the thong strap's brown. You've got a cleansing issue if that's the case. you need to douche.
Yeah, mine's a bit brown, so I don't wear it too much.
That's a casual strap, that is. It's called the shit strap.
I don't like washing it either,
I have to always remind myself, to take the G off when I go out in case I have a car crash.
That's right. You ever get found dead?
You think they're all the
I'll tell you something could go right the other way. That
you don't want to be caught in that thing.
No, definitely not. No, that could be tabloid stuff. That.
Do you think you might do a show in one of the gowns?
No, never.
No.
No.
Strictly off limits, are
they? Actually, there might be one gown that I might do.
That's what I was thinking. I know some of them
I just pretty much look like I am now because it's a specific gown for doing a certain thing.
We could do a pajama show.
Kyle, no, we fucking can't. Stop it.
We could do a pajama show.
It has to stop. This is where are we going with this show?
I'll get a onesie with the feet. The little feet.
No, I'll be honest with you. I am going to be honest with you. It's something I thought of for this Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
It stays strictly between us 3 at this current moment in time.
No worries. Mum's the word. Yeah.
It's not out for broadcast or anything. Strictly between us 3. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you know what I sell really well in America for this Christmas?
What?
Bigfoot onesie with matching slippers.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Big time. Nobody's done it.
I'd buy it. You got to get one. Then you got to go one step further though. You got to make the beanie hat that looks like the top of the head.
Yeah, of course. You've got to have the cone.
Yeah.
You've got to have the cone.
Well,
it's the whole thing.
Is there anywhere you could purchase these things? Possibly we could do a show with that.
No. Basically, that consignment's finally been released from China. So
people want to see Bigfoots. You get 3 come along at once.
But what I'm saying is, I could get that sorted with my Chinese resource agent. But obviously,
really?
Yeah, of course, anything. So I'd have to get that manufactured because there isn't actually one. There's not a Bigfoot onesie with matching.
But when you get your hands on it, will the eyes be right?
I don't know.
Well, you know, it's a lot of this Chinese stuff. Some of it's great, and other bits aren't so great.
No, I just said, Ben, I'll be designing it.
Okay, all right, calm down, Jesus.
The Chinese will just they'll be following the lead. I'll be the creator.
Well, man, take a chill pill.
No, you're just not listening. I'm the man. They'll just fiddle it and needlecraft it.
Will it be all right?
I'd imagine so. Yeah, if I've got out to do with it, be the bollocks.
All right. Okay.
Because I don't take second best. I won't have the bullshit, Ben. I'm sick of it.
All right. Well, just make sure that it looks more real than those masks.
Is that, you know, you keep banging the table there. I envisage that you've got.
Hold on a minute. Here you go again, loosely exaggerating shit again. Shut up. I've banged the table once.
I'm just thinking, have you got some sort of, like, you know, when you go to an auction and it's like 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75.
A gavel?
Yeah. Is that what you've got there?
What did you just say then, Kyle?
A gavel. Do you have a gavel?
See, I was just going to say to him, that is your quest for next week, to find out what that's called, and then you spoilt it with your fucking intelligence.
Wait, it's called a hammer though, isn't it, as well?
No, it's not. It's called a gavel.
Oh.
Bring down the gavel, you can.
Oh,
sorry. I tell you what, these Sussex boys, these Southerners, Kyle, yeah, they don't have much upstairs, dude.
Yeah.
They really don't. And it's across the board of people down south.
Yeah, there's a stereotype about the Southerners, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Are we getting abused in there? Salt is gone, fresh just needs a judge's gobble, for fuck's sake. That's it. Thank you. I've really struggled with these glasses on, the lights. I really struggle to see anything. I can literally just kind of see everything and I'm fine. So, are we wrapping up this evening, gentlemen, or are we...
We're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up. Good stuff.
Well, once again, well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
Thank you. Sussex guys drink mint juleps.
This is correct. And wear dewberry oil. That's correct. They do.
Yeah. I'll take it all.
I'm a Midlander.
They also drink vodka made from cow's milk.
And cider.
Right.
We drink a lot of cider, bro.
So I tell you what, that cider I had the other day was lovely. Hazy lemon. Very nice.
I still want to try this black cow.
You got to get on it, Carl.
I want to try it, man.
It is seriously the nice stuff.
Do you like Carl? Do you like bourbon?
Yeah.
You do like bourbon. Okay.
For someone who doesn't drink, I mean, I don't drink, but you know, the two things like when I drink that I go for are you know, either vodka or whiskey, bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah, well, whiskey's completely different to bourbon, isn't it?
It is.
You know, bourbon's a lot sweeter, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
basically whiskey's 2 parts off paint thinners.
Whiskey's never really done it for me, I've got to tell you.
Yeah, it can be, but there's some good whiskey out there.
Oh yeah, believe me, some of the best whiskey in the world is from England. Don't get embroiled into all buying these casks and stuff, people, because it's the next biggest scam in this country is buying whiskey casks.
Yeah, I've got the emails.
Absolute stupid. We get people like Conor McGregor and stuff like that trying to promote it. Conor, we know you're a estate agent. Do one, dickhead.
Hey, leave my guy alone.
Who, Conor McGregor?
That's my guy.
Oh my God! Right,
Bro.
Oh, he's going to get a bigger kettle.
That's my guy, man.
Jesus.
That's right, Salty. Angry Irish noises. Absolutely. Connor's my dude.
No, it's just a show, man.
Yeah, cool. You know, we did a bottle of the strawberry one last weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. How was it?
It's nice.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah, and he was like, it took you 3.5 days to even communicate with anybody.
He did too.
Because you poisoned yourself.
It was a very heavy one last weekend, boys. It really was.
Because you love poisoning yourself, don't you, Ben?
And that's not to speak of the bothy Scottish rum that we drank as well.
So, yeah, but it's just poison. Stop the poisoning yourself.
I know, it is fresh.
He loves the poisoning.
I knew what I was doing when I started it.
16 bottles of your best poison, please. Thank you.
It's very pleasant.
I'm going to sit
in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment.
It was good for the night, but the next morning, I mean, I wasn't actually the worst one, actually.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you.
Let's leave that. Good
Kyle's a lifesaver. Thank you, Kyle.
Why am I a lifesaver?
Because you just stopped the drivel for a minute. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for being on. You know, I love you both.
Pleasure.
I do. I love you both. You're good friends.
You're a pair of rough sausages.
That's right. A pair of rough sausages.
That's it.
Thank you guys for being here tonight. I don't know if I'll be on Wednesday yet. I still don't know if I have somebody for Wednesday or even this. I don't know. I'm trying to work it out. I'm not sure if I'll have a show before the weekend. I'm hoping so. It's all about trying to get this you know, the guest when they can come on. But I'm trying. If they can't, then I may think about maybe bringing somebody else in. If the guests that I have originally been trying to get on can't come this week, then I might have somebody else lined up who can step in. But we're going to try. I'm really trying to do this to be back on once a week with my regular interview show, and then this show, and then once it hits fall again, I'll probably slow down with one of them so that I can do the back in the woods stuff more often. But you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So hopefully we'll be on Wednesday. If not, I'll keep you guys up to date on when I will be back on and with who I will be back on with.
Quite looking forward to that, Carl. Are you going back into the woods, mate? Actually,
yeah, it won't be until probably September, but it's all right. It'll come. It's coming quick, man. We're already in the middle of July, so only a few weeks, 6 weeks.
Where has this year gone?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
I tell you something. It's like it literally is like somebody has got control of time and speeded it up. It seriously is. If people don't have that thought in their head, there is something wrong with your logical your sense of thinking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because it has been advanced so quickly. I don't know what the hell has gone on.
Yep. It's nuts, man.
It's very obvious this year. Very obvious that something has been speeded up.
Yep, I agree. I really do. It's been very, very weird. Very fast.
Quick.
But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you everyone in the chat for being here. You guys are wonderful as always. Always give us great insight, good laughs, a wonderful time. You're great supporters, and we all appreciate you very, very much. I will try to be back on Wednesday. If I can't, then I'll try to get on. I'll be on this week, period. Point blank, I'll be on. I don't know with who, but I'll be on at some point. I'll keep you up to date. I'll let you know. Thank you guys for being here again. And we will be back hopefully next weekend, as long as these two jabronis can handle it. No? Yes? No?
I'm definitely.
What's that, sorry?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. Sorry. Did you
I'll answer the questions. How's it go, Carl? I'll sit and answer the questions. I'll sit where I'm told. And
well, that's what I've been doing. I've been very, very patient tonight.
I've enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, Carl.
I've sat on my fingers.
God. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to bed. You guys should too.
Frankie Fresh as well, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I love you guys. We'll talk tomorrow.
Take it easy, chaps.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Take care, all.
Good night. Good morning.
Good night.
Don't kill Fresh. Try not to feed too much tonight.
No, fed.
Yeah.
All right.
Fresh, where are you off to?
Don't. We're going now.
He's going.
Night.